2, 6, 4, 3.
There it goes! A grand slam for Curtis Granderson.
Reynolds has it stolen. That ball is scored, and it's gone! Well, when you've been waiting 15 years to watch your team in a playoff game in your ballpark, what's another couple hours? And their patience has been rewarded. Rain delay is over. Teams are ready to go. It's game 1 of the American League Division Series between the Yankees and the Orioles here on TBS. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Camden Yards. What a tremendous atmosphere here tonight. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is John Smoltz, and this is Cal Ripken. Just the other night, we're watching the Orioles in Texas win the wild card game. How would you characterize this team that now prepares to take on their rivals, the Yankees?
Yeah, now this is a different Orioles team. They're not intimidated by the Yankees at all. Maybe in the past, but not this team. They went down the month of September, grinded it out against them. They split the series, 9 wins to 9 wins. And along the way, they might have figured out the secret to CC Sabathia. Sabathia owned them in the past, but this year they beat them twice right here in Camden Yards with the big bat of Adam Jones leading the way, a lifetime 341 hitter, 3 home runs against Sabathia. And let's not forget Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds tore up the Yankees pitching staff, especially in the second half, with 7 home runs. So this Buck Showalter Orioles team, they will compete.
Last month of the season, these guys were tied for first place in the East 10 different days. But the Yankees prevail. And I guess 2 words describe them right now, John. They're hot, they're healthy.
Well, they are. And the last 20 days was a test to win the division. And what winning the division did for the Yankees, it allowed them to set up their rotation. Now, they do have home field advantage, even though they're starting on the road. But the best way for them to win the series is to set up their rotation with CC Sabathia. He's been 5-1 while donning the Yankees uniform, and look at that ERA. So what they have, they've had a lot of pressure on them, but they've got CC Sabathia top, and then they've got a hitter that is as hot as anybody in baseball, 24 for his last 39 to end the season. So although the pressure's on the Yankees, they're primed and ready to get through this division series, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be fun.
First 2 games of this series here in Baltimore, the next 3 in New York. You ready to get started? We are too, and we'll do that right after this. Camden Yards in Baltimore as we get set for game 1 of the American League Division Series. Temperature has dropped to 53 degrees. Had a lot of rain starting about 5:30, but not a drop right now. The 4th member of our crew is Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, the cold front has moved through. The cumulus nimbus clouds have dissipated, and with me, Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, Joe Torre, who made the decision to play ball. How did you reach your decision, and how confident are you that we will not have any interruptions?
Well, Craig, I'll tell you, a year ago when we had to call the game so early, we had a real bad forecast down the road. I mean, this one, we knew it was dry out there somewhere. And not that I know all this, but I'm told this. Nicole has done a great job, the groundskeeper with the Orioles. And we just, kept kept both clubs informed of what was happening. And, everybody was in agreement that we wanted to try to get this game in tonight, if at all possible. And right now it's dry, and we expect it to stay that way.
Has your focus, or maybe the way you go about making these decisions, changed because of last year? We documented the Verlander and Sabathia game.
Well, the last thing, and I could speak to you as a former manager, the last thing you want to do is get your pitchers up and down, up and down. So we were trying to avoid that, basically knowing that the rain was going to start and stop, start and stop. And so with, everybody understood it, and I'm just glad it worked out.
The rain has stopped. We're ready to start. Back up to you, EJ.
All right, thank you very much, Craig, and to Joe Torre for his time here in the pregame. The first pitch was originally set for 6:15 Eastern time, and right now we're looking at, I guess it was close to 2.5 hours of a rain delay, but we are set to go as you get a good look at Derek Jeter, who will be the first hitter in this first game of the American League Division Series. Following Jeter, it'll be Ichiro Suzuki, then A-Rod hitting third, As John pointed out in our pregame segment, Robinson Cano has been on fire lately. He hits cleanup. Then it's Nick Swisher in right field. Mark Teixeira, who's been bothered by a bad calf, returned for the last 3 games. He's in the lineup at first base. Then Curtis Granderson, Russell Martin, and the DH is Raul Ibanez. And the Yankees will be facing Jason Hamill, 8-6 with a record of an ERA of 3.43 this year, John.
Well, for Jason Hamill, this has got to be an incredible moment. His crowd, you're going to hear a crowd that's unlike any other crowd that we're going to hear. They're fired up, ready to go. Can he handle that emotion? That'll cause you to raise your fastball by about 4 or 5 inches if you're not careful. So all eyes on him, but what he's got is a real good fastball, sinker, over-the-top curveball, and slider. And look early on, can he handle the emotions? The Yankees know this, been there, done that. They'll play it more like a regular game, but can Jason Hamill do that?
Jason Hamill is 30 years old. Big guy, 6'6", 225. And he's been bothered by some right knee issues. John, he's wearing a brace on the right knee. How do you think that impacts him?
Well, he said he was used to it in his couple interviews. It's more bigger than cumbersome. And it's his right leg, so it's his plant leg. He's thrown an instructional league game on Monday to stay fresh. He has not been in a big league game for quite some time. Of course, he started off good, but the knee will be a non-issue compared to the emotion of this crowd. And Cal, this crowd has got to remind you of the years past, but they've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, this crowd is certainly like the old Oriole crowds, no doubt about it. Normally when we play the Yankees, or when I was playing the Yankees, when we were here towards the end, we were still part of a losing atmosphere, and half the people here were Yankee fans. Now it's totally changed. This Oriole team now has drawn back the Oriole fans.
Well, you see right here, he's got an improved fastball command when he got over here. Really good curve, slider, combo, and the knee brace, not an issue. They made a mechanical change to get him throwing inside, and I'll explain that later, his knees versus outside, kind of a bow-legged situation. So he's adapted well, started off on fire.
He won 8 of his first 10 decisions, so he was 8-2 through June 22nd. Took a no-hitter into the 8th against Minnesota, took a no-hitter into the 7th against the Atlanta Braves. But then he lost 4 straight decisions. He was having trouble with the knee. He had it scoped. And then when he did come back, his first start was against the Yankees. Did all right, no decision in that one. And then his last start was September 11th against Tampa Bay. Only went 3.2. And then he had more pain in the right knee. They sat him down and rested him. So his first start since September 11th. There you see the umpiring crew. Tony Randazzo behind the plate. Angel Hernandez at first. Brian Gorman makes the calls at second. Field and Culbreth at third. And, of course, down the lines in playoff time, got Mike Everett down the left field line and Mark Carlson in right field. So after a delay of nearly 2.5 hours, we are ready to go. First playoff game in Baltimore since 1997. Here's the first pitch to Derek Jeter, over for a strike.
Derek has been very aggressive on that first pitch during the course of the season with a great deal of success. So I'm kind of surprised that he went ahead and took that one right down the middle.
Hamill to the plate. Misses with that one. Great year for Jeter. 216 hits. Led everybody in baseball. And it was the second most in his career. He grounds this one up the middle and through for a base hit. Jeter had 219 hits 13 years ago as a 25-year-old. And this one just does have eyes and gets through.
Yeah, I was looking at that for a minute, and I thought that Andino might have taken a shallow angle at the ball, but sometimes the footing is not really good right at the start of a game when it's rain delay. It's still kind of a little bit wet out there, so that could be the cause. But anyway, a seeing eye base it up the middle.
So Jeter at first for Ichiro. And what a difference he has made to this New York Yankee team since coming over from Seattle. The Wizard can really handle the bat. How do you pitch him, John?
You got to stay away. He's hit incredibly well on balls in on him. And for Ichiro, who's a professional hitter, you're talking about a guy, 462 batting average and anything in. Away, 258. So you've got to be able to make him put the ball in play away and change speeds, because this guy, it seems like Cal stays in the zone longer than anybody, spoiling a lot of pitches.
That's a really great point, because many times you're thinking when you have an inside-out pitcher or hitter, you want to pitch them inside, but that's where their strength is, where they can actually maneuver and manipulate the ball. You really need to go away with those guys, but certainly Ichiro is a different animal all over the place. He can hit no matter where the ball is on the plate.
Jeter with his lead at first. Ichiro waits on a 1-1. Way upstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
The other thing about Ichiro, the harder you throw, the better he gets. I mean, he's not really, and I've always heard he can hit a home run anytime he wants in BP, but he stays in there on fastballs, and the slower sometimes give him problems. He just drops the barrel of the bat. 93 or plus fastballs, his average goes way up.
Yeah, reminiscent of Wade Boggs a little bit, because he could hit home runs all day long in BP.
Over for a strike, count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There's a lot of guys in this lineup that have had success off of Jason Hamels, and 7 for 12 is Ichiro.
Got a piece to hang in, 2-2.
There's a lot of things that he does to make it tough on pitchers, but here's what I think signifies Ichiro. When his hit distribution, 43 hits to left field, 48 hits to center field, and 54 hits to right field. That's using the whole field.
Yeah, take a look real quick at Andino. Andino has to play a little bit more shallow because of Ichiro's speed, which then opens up a couple holes on that right side.
Hamill checks Jeter and comes to the plate. And the count full to the 2-time American League batting champion. Came to the Yankees from Seattle on July 23rd. 67 games with the Yankees, hitting .322, and you see A-Rod on deck.
Ichiro doesn't put as much pressure on the infielders now, but they still have to respect his speed.
Jeter on the move, and that ball slapped into the gap in left center field. Jeter is around third, and he'll be waved home. The Yankees are on the board. Suzuki is at second with a stand-up double.
Here's a pre-play right here. Fastball right down the middle of the plate. We weren't talking in, we weren't talking away. That missed right down the middle of the plate. You could see the ball jump off Ichiro's bat, splits the defense out there, and with Jeter running, there's no play at home.
So the Yankees on the board right away. And Alex Rodriguez stands in. Hardy right behind Ichiro at second, who takes off for third, and they got him.
You want to talk about resetting the emotions of a pitcher? Here is next thing to a double play, your pitcher's best friend. I can't believe he went so early with the opportunity to get all riled up as a pitcher. That is a free out at third base, wipes it clean. You can now breathe a little bit better as a pitcher and give your home crowd the opportunity to stay revved up.
And I'm surprised that A-Rod took a little square around the bunt. Maybe there was a play on, maybe he was taking automatically, I don't know. But again, you don't want to make your outs on the bases with your 3 and 4 hitters coming up.
Well, we forget Ichiro has played this game a long time, but this is his first postseason game in 11 years. So maybe he's amped up a little bit as he took off for third, trying to put a lot of pressure on the pitcher.
I saw Ichiro. He's so happy to be playing in the playoffs right now. I talked to him on the way in. But I don't think the happiness translates into taking risks. I did talk to Alex. Alex had an aura of confidence today when I talked to him in the clubhouse. He hadn't been swinging the bat real well.
Well, that pitch right there, I know A-Rod's looking back to see. Are you sure? A good breaking ball. This is one of the improved pitches that over-the-top curveball catches the bottom of the strike zone, and A-Rod is caught looking, 2 outs. And again, you can see a whole new spirit about the pitcher, knowing that man on second, nobody out. And it's only 1 run, 2 outs, and the hottest hitter in the planet at the plate.
They help minimize that inning by taking that chance.
Absolutely.
And that's normally the job of the pitcher.
For Cano lately, inside has given him a little trouble, but everything else has given pitchers trouble.
Yeah, I was trying to find a weakness today, just looking over his numbers, his stats, and there is none.
Fouls away the 1-0, down even at a ball and a strike.
He has been so hot, but I'm wondering the time off, whether he feels really, really good about his swing still. Is it still there? We'll find out.
Shatters his bat on a fly ball to right. Chris Davis settles under it for the 3rd out. The Yankees get on the board of their half of the first. The Wizard with a gapper, plating the captain. We welcome you back to Camden Yards. Quickly, the batting order for the Baltimore Orioles. Nate McLeod leads it off, then J.J. Hardy and Adam Jones. Matt Wieters is in the cleanup spot. Then it's Mark Reynolds with all those home runs against the Yankees, 7 of them this season. 20-year-old Manny Machado at 3rd, then Chris Davis. The DH is Lou Ford and Robert Andino. That's 9th against CC Sabathia. Nate McLeod has stepped in. And Sabathia to the plate. Over for a strike. How about CC, John?
Well, CC has had their number overall. You look at the 16-2 record, 16-4 overall, and the 15-6 on the season. But I think one thing CC has done, he has dominated left-handers. 2 left-handers in this lineup. It's going to be awfully difficult if you're McLeod to try and stay off that slider, which is awfully good, as you see it right there for a ground out.
And Mark Teixeira's automatic down there. And that's 1 down.
Well, for CC Sabathia and this playoff resume that he has, been here, done that. The fastball commands is a key. He can lose it away from his arm side every once in a while, but he does have put away off-speed stuff. His slider and changeup, very good.
Yeah, if I might add just a real quick thing, he's discovered his changeup again, and that's so important for CC Sabathia. And I suspect when he discovered it, his numbers: 2-0, 150 ERA, 28 Ks. 4 base on balls in his last 3 starts. I'd say he found it.
Here's J.J. Hardy. And the Orioles shortstop takes a strike.
Well, against the Orioles this year, he gave up at least 4 runs in every game he pitched. He went through a little dead arm, an issue where he had some time on the DL, but he's regained his stuff lately, pitching a lot better, and they're hoping that his 5-1 record in the postseason will start him off in a Game 1 format, and we know that is very important in a best-of-5 series.
Hardy fooled there. It's 0-2. His given name is Karsten Charles Sabathia. You can call him CC. And he's the Game 1 starter here for the Yankees at Camden Yards. Ahead of Hardy, 0-2, and here it comes. A little blooper that Jeter will handle for the 2nd out.
If you stand next to CC, I don't know if you want to call him anything, as big as he is. I always remember him grabbing Prince Fielder when he pitched for Milwaukee and just holding him on like he had his 10-year-old son in his hand. That's a big man.
And again, he'll eat up some innings. Not as many as you're used to, but still a 200 inning worksheet this year.
Yeah, that's only done in 28 starts, so that's pretty impressive. He's been very good at Camden, as you just saw the screen, but a very athletic guy for as big as he is. He can handle a bat, he can move around, and certainly he's one of those guys you give the ball and say, go get him, and he doesn't like coming out of the game too often.
Here's Adam Jones, who has his eye on Cal Ripken's streak. He played in all 162 this year. Still got a few years to go. Grounds it to Jeter, who quickly throws to Teixeira, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for CC Sabathia at Camden Yards. Play TBS Social Dugout presented by Samsung Galaxy S3. Predict plays before they happen, score points, compete against your friends, and earn rewards. Download the app by visiting tbs.com/social dugout or text dugout to 68398. Top two here in Baltimore. And Nick Swisher will lead it off for the Yankees, who lead it 1-0. Hamill with a breaking pitch that missed, 1-0. Swisher has certainly turned it around late in the season. Checked his swing. And Field and Culbreth agreed.
Certainly Nick, he likes to get ahead in the count, and he's one of the best 2-0, 3-1 hitters, and he didn't go there. Although pitchers tend to have a different opinion.
We have a bad view. That's all there is to it. Straight on. Everyone thinks they swing.
A 4-pitch walk to Swisher, who going into the Boston series on September 11th was on an 0-for-27 cold spell and has hit .367 since. He's at first with the free pass, and here's Mark Teixeira.
The trait for these Yankee hitters, they're willing to walk when you don't throw them a strike and put the bat in the next person's hands, and they just wear you out with that offense. Eventually, you're going to have to pay the piper.
Teixeira, a switch hitter, takes a strike. 0-1.
Well, besides getting your fastball over, which every pitcher wants to do, these hitters for the Yankees love the fastball. They love the first pitch. They're vulnerable to the curveball. So you saw him start off Swisher with a curveball. He's going to have to throw curveballs to Tex and Swisher and get him over consistently to have success against the Yankees.
Teixeira's been bothered by a bad calf. In fact, he was out, tried to return in a game here in Baltimore and aggravated the injury in September. Just did come back for the last 3 games against the Red Sox and went 1-for-12. And it was a controversial play in which Teixeira aggravated the injury. Game-ending double play, although the replay shows that he did get in there with a head-first slide. It ended the game.
That was a game Baltimore really had to have, and of course it went neck and neck all the way down the last 15 or so games, with New York edging them out in the last couple games.
The 2-1 fouled away.
You know, we talked to Joe Girardi a little bit about, do you tell him to kind of play half speed a little bit? Do you tell him not to get injured? And he says, wait a minute, once the game starts, Tex is going to play the game. So I can tell him all I want, but he's going to play hard, and he's going to play all out.
Swisher with a lead at first. Teixeira waits on a 2-2 from Jason Hamill. What a race these teams had over the last 30 days of the season. 10 times they were tied for the lead, but the Yankees never surrendered it. Their biggest lead was a game and a half until the final night of the season, when they finally won the division by 2. Teixeira pops it up, and J.J. Hardy puts it away.
Well, that was he got away with his first hanging slider, a slider over the middle of the plate. Just got enough in to cause Teixeira to pop it up, but that's a pitch that's got to be a little more effective. As we sit here, you see how the catcher's set up, and that's, whew, he's lucky to have that one stay in the park, so Tex just missed it.
That certainly is a hanger, and I think with a little bit more timing, that might show the rust a little bit on Tex. he hits that pitch normally.
Here's Curtis Granderson. Granderson led the Yankees in home runs, and the Yankees led baseball in home runs. In fact, set a franchise record.
Again, another Yankee where most of those home runs come on fastballs, so you got to get ahead of him and be able to throw that pitch effectively, and certainly get him to swing outside the strike zone, which he will.
Swisher, who walked to start the inning, leads from first. Granderson with a bullet. Nice play by Mark Reynolds. There's one. And late with the relay, but what a play by Reynolds at first.
Reynolds has been doing a fantastic job at first base. Had a few issues early in the season at third. But here he comes off the base. A rocket. He backhands it, throws from his knee very accurately, but Granderson is way too fast to complete that double play. Fantastic effort by Mark. There's another Mark that's pretty good at first base on this field today. Might be the best.
That's for sure. Teixeira is really slick over there, but Reynolds turned in a blue star play there with the stop on the Granderson shot. Here's Russell Martin.
The defense was a problem for the Orioles early. And we've talked about this before, but since Machado came up and Reynolds has gone over to first base, they have a really good defense.
Martin takes a strike on the corner.
Been really surprised. Martin has struggled most of the year. Timing has been great. He's come up with some big hits, some big home runs. But when you look at, as a pitcher, you look at all the averages that he has against certain pitches, you go, what? Nothing in the, they're all in the hundreds except for fastball is at 253. Every other pitch below 150 almost. And you almost feel like that's got to be a wrong statistic. That can't be for a big league hitter, but it is in this case. And the key, of course, for the Orioles is to execute those pitches to keep those numbers where they're at.
Well, Russell certainly has struggled, no doubt about it, and he got it going on at the right time when they needed him most in the month of September. He got some big hits, some big walk-off homers. He's feeling way more comfortable about his overall swing right now than he was early.
A sea of orange here at Camden Yards. Getting behind Jason Hamill. Ready to deliver an 0-2 to Russell Martin.
I believe that was a high fastball by design. What are you going to come back with now?
You get a guy to swing at a high fastball, always follow it with a curveball. At least that's what you want to think, because he's thinking up, the ball's up, get him to hesitate just for a little bit and get a swing and miss possibly, or a called strike on the curveball that he thinks might be another fastball. I love that quadrant difference. I just don't think when you swing at a high fastball that he'll chase a low slider. That's too big of a difference for a hitter's eyes. I want it to recognize like that high fastball and make him just move just a little bit with his hips and maybe get him out on front.
Again, we're doing 0-2. And grounded foul past Machado at third.
What about coming back with a high fastball again? Taking his level a little higher, see if he chases that one. Is that an option?
Yeah, it certainly is. And you saw right there, if that curveball, it was a high curveball, it allowed him to stay on that same plane. If it had been down just a little bit, it might have changed the trajectory of how he swings at it. But now that he's changed the eyesight, he can go down, or like you said, higher than high, and create that same quadrants, the difference of what you're trying to do to a hitter. It's all a guessing game, and certainly you're trying to just see what he's guessing and do the opposite.
I got news for you. When it's 0-2, it's an emergency situation for the hitter.
Popped him up. Reynolds is over there, so is Wieters. And Reynolds makes the call and the catch, and that'll do it for the Yankees in their half of the second. Watch bonus camera angles for the Division Series and ALCS with postseason.tv. Get started now at MLB.com. We move to the bottom half of the second at Camden Yards. Yankees scored in the first. 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up for Baltimore. This is Matt Wieters, the catcher who's hit 23 home runs and knocked in 83 runs. Takes ball 1 from CC Sabathia.
Wieters really providing a lot of punch from the right side average-wise. 323 from the right side, 224 from the left side. So one of the few guys that might be happy that CC's out there, but most of them aren't.
Popped him up behind second, and Robbie Cano makes the play for the first out. Well, here's Mark Reynolds. Who earlier this year looked like he was just trying to win an MVP, only against the Yankees with 7 home runs of his 23 on the season. Was just wearing out New York pitching.
To say he's streaky might be an understatement.
Looks at a ball, 1-0.
He is the kind of hitter, though, that he's going to be aggressive. He is going to strike out. He's going to let it air out 0-2 like it is 2-0. But if he starts to get his timing down, he can hit the ball a long, long way.
Came up empty there, a ball and a strike. He fouled a ball off his foot on the last night of the regular season. He's a tough guy and had the MRI on it. Nothing broken. Ready to go as he played in the wild card game on Friday and is at first base again tonight for Baltimore. Here comes the 1-1.
So Cal, I'd ask you, is it a lack of pitch recognition, not being able to change, or sometimes the pitchers are hitting his bat? I mean, when you go through streaks like that, it does look like he misses pitches by quite a bit, and then there's times where it looks like a beach ball. Is that just part of? Like
yeah, I don't know if I can offer an opinion when missing a ball by that much. Because when you go to swing the bat, you have a pretty good idea where it is. You get fooled quite a bit, but he is. It's a matter of timing, how he gets the bat back, how he recognizes the pitch, and it's not just a fastball. It's not just a breaking ball. When he's swinging well, he hits it all.
Yeah.
He might give you a false sense of security by missing the first 2 by a foot and try to throw him the third one, and he'll get you.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and here it comes. And Mark Reynolds caught looking for the second out. 5 up and 5 down for CC Sabathia.
And what that is, that's a back door. That is so difficult for a hitter. That starts way out and catches the bottom part of the outside strike zone, as we saw pitch tracks right there. That's a ball 90% of the way, and at the last minute, you see it come back over the plate, and by then, it's too late for a hitter to pull the trigger. Great pitch for CC Sabathia.
The hitter gives up on it. Seemingly it's away, and all of a sudden it breaks back over the plate. You know, nothing you can do with that. CC looks really sharp today.
Here's 20-year-old Manny Machado, who takes 1-0.
Now the danger of that pitch right there, you pull it over the middle, and that's where you get that home run. But CC and his curveball and slider have been so much better lately, in that changeup we talked about. And then, you know, you got to be ready for 93 to 95 with his fastball.
Machado made his debut on August 9th tripled for his first big league hit. Hit 2 homers in his second game in the majors. It was that kind of an opening week for Machado, who was the American League Player of the Week in his first year in the bigs. The first week he's there, making an immediate impact. And at 20 years old, great defensively, Cal. A guy who they look at as the shortstop of the future, but came to the bigs playing third.
Certainly, he's very mature for his age. I think they were worried that it might be rushed a little too soon, but he stepped right in at third base. And I told him today, I think your experience at third will help you ultimately when you go back to shortstop. But I've been really impressed with the way he's handled himself, both at the plate and also at the hot corner.
And here in this American League Division Series, Machado can look down the third base line and see his idol playing third, Alex Rodriguez. They both wear number 13. Machado says that's what he was given when he reported, didn't request it.
That's really cool to me because I talked to Alex as a young man, and some of the words that he brought back to me, and I talked to Manny Machado, you know, around the same age, and they're almost identical. That's eerie to me. They understand the position. They understand where they are.
Payoff pitch on the way. And Machado goes down swinging and throws down the bat in disgust. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for game-changing traction inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Turned into a pretty good night to have that blimp up. Now that the rains are gone here in Baltimore, we move to the top half of the third inning.
You guys snuck the blimp by me.
I know that's still one of your playoff, when your playoff dreams.
Does he want to drive it?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna. Not want to, I will. That's on the bucket list.
We'll have to talk about that later. I don't know why.
This is Raul Ibanez leading off for the Yankees in the third. He's the designated hitter, hitting ninth, and pretty good X factor in this series. This guy's come up with some big hits. 19 home runs, 62 runs batted in, and those 62 RBIs coming on 92 hits.
I'm wondering what the expectations was from the Yankees when they signed Raul. Still a good hitter. Did they think he was going to hit 19, 20 home runs?
With that porch out there, absolutely. I think they felt that his fly balls, short porch right, short porch left, and catch lightning in a bottle, and certainly has. He's come up with some big ones. That's a bandbox, by the way.
I didn't expect anything less from you.
That's a pitcher talking.
You a pitcher.
Up and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is a cozy confines for a hitter as well. You can reach all parts of the ballpark. It does play a little bit bigger than it appears, and that warehouse makes this feel much smaller and much more intimate. It's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, that ball's hit well there, Cal, but foul. Earlier this week, Ibanez against the Boston Red Sox, and this is after the Orioles had already won in Tampa Bay. 9th inning, 2-run shot to tie the game, and then delivers a walk-off single.
That was a huge hit. Brought a lot of magic back to that Yankee team. Now we get the home run.
Hamill punched him out for out number 1 here in the third.
I'll tell you the other thing it did. The Yankees had not won a game when trailing after the 8th inning, which is, to me, one of the most amazing with all that they have on their team. So that was their first game when trailing after 8 innings, and they won that game and ultimately helped them win that division as they went on to win the next couple games.
Yeah, I saw that stat, and I thought, you know, it can't be. They're too good not to have come back once.
Here's Jeter. Singled his first time and has scored the game's only run. Grounded towards short. Hardy gobbles it up, throws him out for the second out. Let's check in with Matt Weiner in Atlanta.
Hello, EJ. Time for a Bank of America game break, and a reminder, the Reds and Giants will play Game 2 of their LDS from San Francisco in just a few minutes' time. At the bottom of the hour, in fact, Bronson Arroyo will try to get the Reds a 2-0 advantage in that series. Madison Bumgarner, the lefty on the mound for San Francisco. You'll see that game at 9:30 Eastern time on TNT. Fellas?
All right, thank you very much, Matt, and what a masterful job Matt and Eck and Boomer did in filling a lot of time during a rain delay. And always nice to hear Eck say that this is what it's all about right here. Rain delays during a playoff night. Ichiro takes a strike. 0-2.
Well, whatever nerves he may have had in the first inning, his fastball has honed in, his curveball, the touch on it. Nice adjustment for Hamels, who have not had a lot of experience in these type games. Always look as a pitcher, are you firm with your stuff but not tentative? And there's a difference between overthrowing and underthrowing, and right now his mechanics and everything's going to the plate in a smooth fashion.
In case you're just joining us, here's what happened in the top half of the first with Derek Jeter running. Ichiro slapped one to the gap in left center field. Stand-up double that scored Jeter. And that's where we are. 1-0 New York. And Ichiro waits on a 1-2. Hamel working quickly. Breaking pitch misses. And the count full. The second postseason start in Jason Hamel's career. Made a start for the Rockies against the Phillies in 2009. And Ichiro somehow, on 1 foot, stays alive.
There's a good shot right here, the way they're playing Ichiro. From up here, you could see he's a lot more shallow in left field. Nate's right there, so when they shot the gap, it's easy to pass through for that extra base hit, but they're trying to take away that little chinker that goes down the line, that little bloop thing that he's so good at pushing out there.
Fouled off over the Yankee dugout, and the count remains 3-2.
Sometimes you have to give up something to get something, and clearly they have something in the spray chart that indicates this is where we want to play.
In 2001, the last time Ichiro was in the playoffs with Seattle, it was against the Yankees. They knocked him out. And he goes down swinging. Foul tip held on by Matt Wieters. 1-2-3 inning. The Goodyear superior performance. Guy who's coming to the plate right now for the Orioles. Chris Davis had a streak of 6 straight games with a home run snapped on Wednesday night, hitting .360 lately, and has just natural easy power. Be amazed at how far the ball will go on what appears to be an effortless swing with this guy. And there's a line drive up the middle for the first hit off Sabathia.
Described his swing very accurately. It's an effortless looking swing, short, not a whole lot of body in it, pops it, but the ball jumps off his bat. Line drive to center field.
That's good anticipation right there, guessing that he's going to throw you a first pitch fastball. I mentioned how tough CC can be on left-handers, especially when he gets 2 strikes on you, so he took advantage of that guessing game between the pitcher and the hitter, and the hitter won.
You hear the chorus of Lou's here at Camden Yards for Lou Ford, the DH, who in his career 9 out of 39 against Sabathia, but 2 of those have left the park.
We're talking about the X factor with Ibanez. This could be one against CC.
Shattered his bat, base hit to left. Davis will hold at second. They're at first and second with nobody out.
I'll tell you what, this pitch was a good pitch for a pitcher. It breaks the bat. I hope everyone in the stands is okay. They were looking to see where the ball went. The bat went deep into the crowd.
Well, watch Alex's reaction right here. He saw the head of the bat coming out, and he did not go for it because he didn't know where the bat was. That's one of the problems with these shattering bats, is that you see 2 things at once, and you don't go after the ball. So a little bit of a break for the Orioles there.
Jeter's coming in to try and set up what would be possibly a bunt situation here. First and second. You ideally want the third baseman to field the bunt if Baltimore indeed is going to bunt. Create a second and third.
Robert Andino at the plate. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Shortened and took. 1-0.
You can really tell by the positioning right here that they're not going to put an aggressive play on. You know, Alex is staying back. They're going to give another sign right here. You can see Alex trying to get the attention of everyone, but CC didn't really look too much at him. So I would think the same thing is on. They're going to stay back. Jeter's too close to second base. So you should bunt this to third.
Swinging away and fouled it back.
We'll swing for a home run.
Not even a ball and a strike.
And that would be one of the reasons why the third baseman's not charging so aggressively early in the ball game. They're not so sure that it was going to be a bunt. It's not a good feeling when you're Alex Rodriguez over there right now. You know, you want to stay there, but at the same time, you just saw the swing. And the ball gets down there very quickly when you're in front of that bag.
This time Andino does get it down. The play will be to first. And they get Andino, but the runners move up to second and third.
Well, he got away with this because he deadened the ball. You see that right off the end of the bat. Traditionally, when it's back to the pitcher, you could have a play at third, but it came off the bat soft, and therefore it allowed the runners to move up and get a good jump. And now Orioles with contact, other than third base, should tie the game.
Robbie Cano with a good job on that sacrifice bunt to keep the toe on the bag for the out. Here's McLeod.
If you're McLeod, here's the guessing game. Is he going to try to get that, sneak that fastball, or is he going to go right to the slider, try to get swing and miss type pitches?
And that ball's hit hard into right field for a base hit. 1 run will score, 2 runs will score, and the Orioles have the lead.
I got to believe right here he's looking location, because that's a hanging slider, which would be a fastball over the middle of the plate. Because if you're up there hitting, maybe you're looking for it, Cal, but I think that pitch was just so fat that it allowed him to pull the baseball.
Well, it is known when CC gets his back against the wall, to a right-hander, he'll go to his changeup. To a left-hander, he'll go to that slider. I wouldn't be surprised if Nate was sitting breaking ball there.
Here's J.J. Hardy. Boy, has Nate McLeod resurrected his career with the Baltimore Orioles. He was an all-star with the Pirates in 2008. And really struggled in Atlanta and Pittsburgh as he returned to the Pirates. Orioles pick him up. He's been golden.
He had 2 RBIs in that wild card game as well, and that's just good for him. What a story it's been, because it was not going that way early on, and he's contributing so much in a huge way for Baltimore.
Hardy with a grounder to second. Cano, Jeter, Teixeira for the double play. But the Baltimore Orioles have taken the lead. It's 2-1. Stay one step ahead. Get alerts whenever something big happens with your teams. Check out the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report on the App Store or Google Play. Top half of the 4th inning. Game 1, American League Division Series. Alex Rodriguez takes a breaking pitch inside from Jason Hamill, 1-0. A-Rod caught looking his first time. That's over for a strike, 1-1.
One of the stats that I keep talking every telecast is what are shutdown innings. Well, that's when your team scores runs for you. Your pitcher's job is to go put a 0 up there. For Jason Hamill, 2.56 ERA and the opportunities that have presented him. So not too bad right there. Good ERA and the ability to shut down the other team when his team has rewarded him with runs.
A-Rod waits. Comes up empty. Ball and 2 strikes. Rodriguez missed 36 games with a broken left hand. Felix Hernandez got him with a pitch. And since coming back from the DL on September 3rd, hitting .261, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. He's behind 1-2. And that just missed.
You know, for a guy that's hit that many home runs, he really has a good idea of the inside part of the plate. He does not swing at a ball, and that's a ball. It's just inside, but I'm amazed at his discipline on that pitch.
Count full to Alex Rodriguez.
And there's an example right there. That was a great curveball, but because the pitch was in, I wonder sometimes, in a hitter looking at a fastball in, does that pitch look that much farther away? Had it been a fastball away and then followed up with that, that's where I see the hitter maybe thinking a little bit to go after that pitch.
I mean, Alex, as you can see, he will not swing at a bad pitch. He doesn't panic when he gets 3-2.
Leadoff walk here in the 4th. We check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Jason Hamill is pitching with a knee brace on his right knee. It's more than a protective sleeve. It's actually a knee brace with steel bars on the side like a quarterback would wear. On July 15th, he was placed on the disabled list and had knee surgery. A week ago today, he was in Sarasota for the Instructional League. Met the team in Texas Friday for the wild card team game, and even though he wasn't active, he threw in the pen, had a good outing. Buck Showalter went up to him yesterday during the workout session, 10 minutes before a meeting with the media, said, "You've worked hard, I have confidence, and you are going to be my starting pitcher in game 1. He obviously has worked hard to get back. He's trying to pick up a win tonight, which would be his first victory since June 22nd.
Well, I'll tell you what, Craig, and for Buck Showalter, I don't know that they have a ton of options, but they're not afraid. They're not afraid with numbers 0-6 starting in Texas for Saunders, a guy who hasn't pitched much, maybe doesn't have all his stuff. They believe in their guys. They run them out there, and they say, that's my number 1 every time they run a guy out, because they really don't have a true number 1 pitcher.
He jumps ahead of Robinson Cano, the most dangerous hitter in baseball right now. 0-2.
Coming right after Robinson, but I would have to ask, though, that 3-2 choice of a breaking ball in your shutdown inning and walks him.
Cano flied out to right his first time. Not only does he take a 9-game hitting streak into this game, it was a 9-game hitting streak featuring multi-hits.
I agree with you, Cal, especially the way he took the previous breaking ball. That would have been a better choice, would have been a slider, which looks more like a fastball, and you have less time. That curveball, you can follow it a little bit. He followed that first one as good as you could follow it, thinking that it was coming. So Maybe the next time he's up, we'll watch to see the pitch selections if they change.
It's certainly all about reading and making the adjustments on those. But I tell you what, he hasn't driven the ball. He hasn't hit a lot of home runs lately. I know he's a home run threat, especially here. He's hit a ton of home runs in this ballpark.
He's 24 for his last 39 coming into this game. Just a cool 615. A-Rod with a lead at first. And again, fouled back by Cano.
You know what I miss and love about these type games, the playoff games, because you can overthink. You can do things you wouldn't do in the regular season. There's so much amped up, so much on the line that you try to think more or less, I don't want to give up a home run here. You know, I don't want to do this here. Instead of making the pitch to get the guy out and settling your mind down that you would never think like that in a regular season game. These are the kind of games that can cause different thoughts that come through your head.
Runner going, and a bullet to first. Boy, I tell you what, Mark Reynolds has made a couple of dazzling stops down there. Rodriguez is at second, but they retire Cano on a bullet.
Here he's running on this pitch. He doesn't know where the ball is. Didn't take a flash. Mark takes the quick out here, but I wanted to see Alex at second base here. Watch him. Normally you'll take a flash. He was stealing all the way. Bullet. He goes into second base. Doesn't know where to slide or stand up. He almost killed himself. Here he is. Uh-oh. What?
No, just laughing with him, not laughing at him.
Exactly.
I never liked to deke at second base as a shortstop. When the runner does not know where the ball is, you can use your eyes. You can put your glove down as if the ground ball is coming to you to get all kinds of reaction. I never liked doing that. But certainly Alex didn't know where the ball was.
He represents the tying run out there at second. Swisher at the plate. Just 1 out of 31 in his postseason career with runners in scoring position.
And that shows you the difference of what this game can be, because he's been pretty good this year, batting .301 with 11 home runs with runners in scoring position.
He's ahead, 2 balls and no strikes.
All right, Cal, I'm going to give you a stat that's going to blow your mind.
Uh-oh.
A-Rod leads the team with 5 stolen bases of third base. I would say they're not paying attention to him if he's stealing third base 5 times.
Do you consider your mind blown now, Cal?
Well, I'd give you up 24 guesses. I don't know that you'd pick A-Rod.
No, I wouldn't, but I don't know a heck of a lot about stealing bases, period. Going from second or third. But I do understand how stealing third base can be a little easier. The pitcher sometimes will just take one look, turn his head back towards home plate. You can actually get a really good jump and a bigger lead. So I can understand how he can do that. He's always been a smart player. He's always known how to steal bases. So if you fall asleep, he certainly will make you pay. And in a one-out situation, you don't want him getting the third with less than 2 out.
Two balls and a strike. And Swisher takes down low. He walked his first time.
JJ is certainly looking at him very closely. And he understands the importance. There he is, creeping in a little bit. Sometimes that's all that's needed to let Alex know, hey, we see you.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Swisher.
That's a great pitch. Under the circumstances, 3-1. I know a base is open, but the ability to have that trust in that changeup and then expand the strike zone for a guy who's aggressive, who's had to hear about his 1 for 31 in running scoring position. Great pitch, and now 3-2 neutral count. I don't think anyone has the advantage.
The 3-2 misses, and that is another walk for Swisher and puts runners at first and second. Now here's Mark Teixeira. Well hit, but foul past first.
Some hitters just make your lineup feel right. And certainly when Mark Teixeira was out of the lineup, you look at the Yankee lineup, it didn't feel right. I mean, personally, Eddie Murray, a long time ago with me, he could be 0 for 75. But the lineup felt right when he was hitting fourth.
Nowhere near with the 0-1, count even. Rodriguez and Swisher, your runners. And he was on that pitch, fouled it straight back. Another Yankee who has struggled in his postseason career with runners in scoring position. The 1-2. That ball is pulled foul.
You know, the players know that too. You know, it's not a secret. You're going to get asked about it all the time, and you try to put it out of your mind. Take this at bat, have a nice calm at bat, put a good swing on it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. But they know their stats.
Matt Wieters putting down fingers for Jason Hamill. He delivers a 1-2 to Teixeira. That ball is drilled to right. Chris Davis goes back. It's off the scoreboard. Rodriguez around third. He will score. Teixeira is thrown out at second, and Swisher stays at third. So the game is tied. A runner's at third, but they do get an out.
Yeah, Tex, he gets all this. Line drive off the wall. This is a tough read right here for Mark Teixeira. Ball comes right off the wall, comes to the second, right to Chris Davis here. Now, he has to be thinking there might be a play at home plate, but I still got time to throw the ball to second base. He's got a good arm out in right field, so unfortunate for the Yankees right there. It takes away the advantage of getting Swisher to third. He doesn't bust out right away. He's running okay.
He's doing what his manager told him, and now he's seeing the reaction of the calf. I got to get to second. And certainly Chris Davis, who hasn't played that position a lot, played it extremely well. Markakis goes down, he goes out there. And those are the kind of things that you have to have happen if you're going to win games in the postseason. You got to execute what the team will give you, and that certainly was a great out that keeps them now with runner on third and 2 outs versus second and third, 1 out. That's a big play.
So here is Granderson, and they will put him on.
I felt that the pitches that he tried to get Teixeira out weren't as sharp, that led to going back to the fastball, which got Tex in a better hitting position. He's vulnerable to the curveball. He hung a changeup or cut a changeup the first pitch that he pulled foul. He wasn't able to make the pitches that I believe typically give Mark the most trouble. So now I get back into that, I'm going to blow a fastball by him, and it cost him this time, and he got a hit.
Certainly his two-seamer, I think he was trying to get it to come back to the inside part, came back to the big part of the plate, and Tex didn't miss it.
Fourth walk of the night for Jason Hamill, first intentional, puts runners at first and third with 2 down for Russell Martin.
You never know how they're going to play out in the game, but so far the Yankees have given the Orioles 2 big plays. The steal of third of Ichiro quieted the rally. That throw out at second could quiet the rally. 2-2 right now. We'll see how the game plays out if those are big, loom bigger than it really is.
Runners lead from first and third, and wow, spun the cap of Russell Martin.
obviously, when a hitter dives in a little bit, and maybe you never like to see that as a pitcher. He's not trying to do that. He's trying to pitch him out in, trying to get him out in. The ball gets away from him, and you just hate to see that as a pitcher. Hopefully that's the last time we see that near the head, because you're not even trying to get that close. You're just trying to get the ball belt high down and in.
Ball and a strike to the Yankees catcher.
I'd even venture to say that he overthrew that, trying to reach back for a little extra, make a pitch, and try to throw it too hard, and his arm dragged a little bit, and that's where the ball ends up coming in, is up and in.
Swisher is your runner at third. Granderson at first. 2 down. And the 1-1 to Martin. Fly ball, fairly shallow in left center. Adam Jones takes control and puts it away. But Mark Teixeira ties the game, knocks in a run. It's 2-2. This postseason, for the first time, MLB Network has Division Series game telecasts. Coming up this Wednesday, don't miss any of the action. And a game you can see only on MLB Network. Go to MLBnetwork.com for schedule and channel number. Heard Matt Vasgersian, your buddy John, doing that Oakland-Detroit game today. The Tigers up 2-0 in that series as it goes to Oakland. And we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Adam Jones with a tapper foul off Sabathia.
Yeah, 2 great stories in baseball, Oakland and Baltimore. And Oakland, unfortunately, just got a bad draw on a new system. They got the draw of Verlander and a start in Detroit. Detroit's up 2-0. That series is not over by any means, but now home field advantage is, you got to win 3 in a row.
A mile high in the infield by Jones. Alex Rodriguez takes control, 1 down. It's time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Moments ago, we spoke with Yankees skipper Joe Girardi. Joe, you've got 2 runs on the board here early. You figure you could have had more?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible we could have had some more, but, you know, you look at the throw, you know, from the right field, there's outstanding job on his part. And, you know, Ichiro gets thrown out, but I mean, we want our guys to be aggressive. We don't want our guys just to sit back.
Joe, long delay, sometimes that can affect the pitcher. It doesn't look like it affects CeCe at all. He came out really good. Only 1 bad pitch so far in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think the good thing was we knew that we were going to be delayed, and I kept the guys informed, and MLB did a good job of keep us informed that, you know, it wasn't going to be at 7, and we were probably going to meet again around 7:45. We just continued to talk, and it helped.
One of the things that's real interesting for a pitcher, every pitcher has a routine. They get ready for a game. Game time is set. You know what you're going to do. There was a delay. You got to adjust your routine. Sometimes you might be even getting a little hungry about this time because you want to set your stomach in a position that is ready for game time, and that obviously has changed.
That ball hit right on the screws by Matt Wieters, but right at Curtis Granderson for out number 2. So did that mess with you guys if you had a delay like that and you had to wait around?
I mean, yeah, you're antsy. You're trying to stay loose. You're trying to do other things. And, yeah, I didn't like to play on an empty stomach. So I didn't mind munching around a little bit, just like I didn't mind in the cafeteria behind us here at the booth on the rain delay.
Well, I tried to space it to where I had 3 hours of no food, and then that would carry me through the game. And if that changed, I'd have to go get a PBJ or something, try to get something. 2-hour delay would have caused my stomach to growl a little bit. And you know I like to eat, too.
This is Mark Reynolds with 2 down. I noticed that the nachos were depleted in the press room here.
Crushed them, by the way. Oh, my.
Reynolds waves at that. Ball and a strike. We are at Camden Yards, a game that was supposed to start at 6:15 Eastern time, but a rain delay of close to 2.5 hours. But we are underway and in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Game 1 of the American League Division Series between the Orioles and the Yankees. Couple of teams who've met 18 times in the regular season and split them right down the middle, 9-9.
You look at these two teams and put them on paper and cover them up. Statistically, Baltimore does not compete in a lot of categories that New York does, but Baltimore has that, as we've talked about, that it factor. They've won a lot of close games. They battle and they find ways to win.
That is one of the earmarks of this Buck Showalter team. 29-9 in one-run games, and they've won 16 straight extra inning games. Lost the first 2 extra inning games of this season and won the rest, 16 in a row.
They lost those 2 games to the Yankees in extra inning games.
Reynolds takes, and he's aboard with 2 down.
That is something that you cannot put. That pedigree doesn't go with every team. That goes with a special year, and when things are clicking, you fill in holes, you plug in people, and that's what happens. For this team, they have made so many drastic changes from last year pitching-wise. That's why this team is competing in the postseason.
First walk of the night by Sabathia has Reynolds at first with 2 down for 20-year-old Manny Machado. Breaking pitch, and he took it for a strike.
CC's a pitcher, not a thrower. He's not big and just throws hard. He mixes his pitches very well. 4 really good pitches.
Ball and a strike. John, here's one that'll blow your mind.
I'm ready.
Youngest Oriole to homer at the age of 20, Machado, since Jim Palmer did it at the age of 19 in 1965. Get next to that.
What?
Jim Palmer homered as a 19-year-old for the Baltimore Orioles in '65, a pitcher.
Jim could hit.
Yep.
I think he has a home run in the World Series, too.
Well, you've ruined me for the rest of the telecast.
Rendered you speechless. The 2-1. Rounded toward short. Jeter will go the short way, and that'll do it for the Orioles in the 4th. Game tied at 2.
The League Division Series on TBS is brought to you by State Farm. For home, auto, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Chevrolet. Proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country.
Identical line scores as we head to the 5th, 2-3-0 for both sides in Game 1 of the American League Division Series. Raul Ibanez leads it off for the Yankees in the 5th. Struck out his first time. And quickly Hamill ahead 0-2. He's working quickly.
Well, he is, and he's starting to paint that outside corner, which is what you need to do. Establish your fastball, mix in. I think his breaking ball can get a little bit better than it has been, and if he does that, he'll be able to get a few more strikeouts.
Field and Culbreth is the third base umpire, and he says that Ibanez did not go. Wieters had asked for help. Here comes the 1-2. Checked it again, and again he didn't go.
First glance, it looked like he went too far. I'm coming to your side of the fence there.
Ooh, that was a real good breaking ball, too. I don't know how he even got to hold up as far as he did.
In the air and out of play over there by the Yankee dugout. Yankees scored 1 in the first. Derek Jeter singled. Came around to score on Ichiro's double. The Orioles scored 2 of their own in the third. And then the Yankees with a single tally in the fourth. We're 2-2. That ball right back to Hamill. Somebody tell him how good a play that was. That's one down. It's time to talk. Brought to you by Charles Schwab. Moments ago, we spoke with Orioles manager Buck Showalter. Buck, what can you say about Nate McLouth, a guy who has knocked in your 2 runs tonight and has resurrected his career with your club?
Well, you know, he's been solid for us the whole time. You know, he's a baseball player. He defends on both sides of the ball. I think the word I'd use to describe him is he's engaged. He's engaged in the competition and what it takes to give himself a chance to get back there. John Russell was his manager in Pittsburgh when he had a great year, and they did a great job with him in AAA with Ron Johnson and those guys.
Hey, Buck, Chris Davis out there made a fantastic throw. He's been working out pretty good for you in right.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. Good players make you look like you might know something, but Chris has got some experience out there, and he's probably got as good a pure arm strength as anybody in the ballpark tonight, so we like our chances when we get the ball in his hands.
Fouled off by Jeter. Our thanks to Buck Showalter and Joe Girardi for their time between innings tonight.
Got a curious question for you, John. Right knee is more of a problem, or left knee if you're pitching?
Yeah, that's the chicken and the egg. I mean, you want to be able to stay back and drive, but you also want to be able to land on your left knee. I think what he's been able to do without a bunch of game experience so far to this point has been impressive.
The 0-2, and he gets Jeter looking. Go to Atlanta and Matt Weiner.
All right, EJ, time for a Bank of America game break. The Reds are already up a game in the series and now up a run in game 2. Ryan Ludwig crushes that Madison Bumgarner pitch into the seats for his first postseason extra base hit. And Bronson Arroyo has a 1-0 lead. That game playing out on TNT.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Here's Ichiro.
If there's one area you can cheat, though, meaning if you had to get away with it, it's probably your right leg as a right-handed pitcher, because you really want to get down through it in your left leg so you can kind of bypass it a little bit, if you will. But I think what they did mechanically to him, getting him taller and inside his legs, has helped him become the pitcher he has this year. He was a little bow-legged and pitching outside his legs, where you lose power and you lose that depth of pitching. And so they got him actually throwing with the weight inside his knees, if you will. And I know that right knee's an issue, and that's probably why that brace allows him to feel stronger.
Hamill walked 3 hitters in the 4th, one of those intentionally. Here in the 5th, trying to get the Yankees 1-2-3. And Ichiro fouls it back. Been 15 years since they heard noise like this in Baltimore in October. And it just got louder. We're heading to the bottom of the 5th.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Bottom 5 at Camden Yards. All tied up at 2, and here is the guy they call Crush. Chris Davis singled and scored in the 3rd. Over for a strike. John?
If I was hitting, I'd be looking for a breaking ball.
Yeah. Well,
on that
looks like I'm walking back to the hotel.
You have to reveal what you told us in the break.
That's it. First pitch, slider coming up.
You know, that really does work on young pitchers. You can go up there and hurt their feelings swinging at that first fastball, hit a bullet to the outfield, and then you're going to erase that fastball from your memory for the rest of the game. Looks like it didn't work on wise old CC.
Nope.
1 ball, 1 strike. That ball is blooped over second. And Davis is 2 out of 2.
Well, he executed, and the bat, like the second time that's cracked, has gone down a hero. Sometimes it's not how hard you hit him, it's where you hit him. And the pitcher executed and the hitter executed. The hitter won.
Well, in the third inning, Davis led off with a single, and Lou Ford followed suit. In the inning in which the Orioles scored twice, Davis has singled here, and here is Ford, who's quite a story himself. Played with the Twins from 2003 to 2007. Then he played in Japan. Then he kind of bounced around the independent leagues. And debuted on July 29th for the Orioles for the first time since September of 2007. And here he is starting as the designated hitter in Game 1 of the division series.
CC, the last couple innings when he's needed to pitch a pitch to get somebody out, it's been the changeup. There's a really good changeup right there for a swing and miss.
Didn't mean to. A swinging bunt, and the throw to first. They got him. What a play by Russell Martin, and what a dig by Teixeira. That having been said, Buck Showalter does not agree.
That's another changeup, and he hits it off the end of the bat. And Cal, this is one of the better plays you're going to see from a catcher.
Yeah, I was anticipating a little bit of a sac bunt, but Russell Martin gets out there really fast, bare hands it, throws it, and there's Tex over there. I thought he got him, but is there some question whether he had it clean? Was it bobbling in his glove? Maybe that's what Buck is talking about.
Well, obviously, you see where the umpire is. He will not be able to see that from his view. He's just looking that the ball beat the runner. There's the view right there. He cannot see whether that ball was bobbled or not.
Definitely out. The ball got there before. But was the ball caught clean is the question.
Angel Hernandez making the call at first. Chris Davis now at second with one down. And here's Robert Andino, the number 9 hitter. He laid down a sacrifice bunt his first time. And then McLeod followed with the 2-run single. Takes the breaking pitch over 0-1.
Well, certainly if you've been watching from the bench, Robert Andino has seen him go to his changeup. You know, in certain situations, this is an RBI situation, and CC has been known to go to that power 86, 87 mile-an-hour changeup here. Chose to go with a curveball on the first pitch.
Larry Rothschild, the Yankees pitching coach, watching CC Sabathia working in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Andino slaps it into left field for a base hit. Davis held up and will be at third with one down.
Here comes the pitch right here. This, in fact, was a changeup at 86 mile an hour, and Andino might have been laying for it. Hit it hard through the hole, but not good enough to score the run from second base.
I thought the read was a little bit tentative from Chris Davis because that ball's in the hole. Diving, you know, would have been tough for him to get up, even if he made it to throw out to third. But nonetheless, first and third, there wasn't anybody keeping him close, and it was just a cautious move to third, making sure the ball got through and station to station.
That's a great point. That is a tough read because when the ball's in front of you, you can't go to third base. You don't want to give up your men in scoring position. But if you know where Jeter's playing, you might be able to make an aggressive read.
You see the impressive numbers with runners in scoring position for the Orioles in this postseason, which began with the wild card win on Friday. And Nate McLeod is at the plate. He's the guy who knocked in the 2 Oriole runs in the third. Had a good cut right back to the screen. And here was McLeod's big hit in the third. Well hit into right. Scoring Chris Davis and Lou Ford.
Nate just had a heck of a swing at another breaking ball, 1-0. So I'm wondering if CC reads that. He's going to come in with a fastball.
McLeod played 55 games in the regular season, hit .268, 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in, and stole a dozen bags. Played good defense, and he's in a big spot here. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This changes the whole at bat right here. A fastball away that's off the plate. He gets the benefit of the strike. I would not be surprised if you are tempted, if you're Martin, to go right back out there and see if you can steal another inch. That ball's off the plate, evens the count at 2-2 versus 3-1. That's a big difference. Looks like he's going to go with the slider.
Runners lead from first and third. Sabathia bounced it, and Martin blocked it.
You talked about Russell Martin making a great play on that ball in front of home plate. This might be equally as good. Ball bounces way out there in front of home plate. The toughest one to block.
So a full count to the Orioles leadoff hitter, who knocked in 2 runs in the wild card game and has knocked in 2 here in game 1 of the ALDS. And he takes a called 3rd strike for out number 2.
Well, this is just a simple case of tipping your hat right here. This was too good of a pitch. You just can't pull the trigger on that. He painted the outside part of the plate, and there's nothing really Nate could do.
No, I agree. And the other one was a little bit off, but that was a perfect pitch. Nate knew it.
Now it'll take a 2-out hit from J.J. Hardy.
Changeup that cut over the inside part of the plate. Those are the ones you worry about as a pitcher. When they cut, they have the wrong spin, and they certainly can go a long way. He got away with it with a ball, but he's trying to go away with that pitch and get the hitter to hit it off the end of the bat.
He's a shortstop with some pop. And he takes a strike, 1-1.
And with some numbers on CC. He's hit him very well.
He had 30 home runs a year ago. Tied with Troy Tulowitzki for the most by a shortstop, and he went deep 22 times this season. Runners lead from the corners. And the 1-1. Again down low, and again Martin going to work behind the dish.
Coming in, JJ was 6 for 10. He now is 6 for 12 off CC this year. I'm pretty sure if I'm hitting right now, I'm getting the changeup from CC. Do I have to walk back to the hotel or my house?
No, you just said pretty sure. I was adamant.
2 balls and 1 strike. Grounded up the middle. And Cano will take it himself. And that'll do it for the Orioles, who threaten, but they do not score as we go to the 6th. Here's a look at tonight's pitcher comparison, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. The guy on the left making his 16th career playoff start. The guy on the right his second, John.
Yeah, equally impressive. 99 pitches might be pretty safe to say it might be his last inning, but he's done a great job limiting the damage and his emotions. Both guys battling for their teams.
Hamill to face Alex Rodriguez to lead off the 6th. A-Rod called out on strikes in the first, walked and scored in the 4th. I have no idea what that was, but it's out of the way. 1 ball and no strikes.
Right here, he leaked out with his mechanics. The arm drags, it has nowhere to go but in, away from where you're intended to do. He's got to get back to that compact head, going where he wants to throw it, the arm catching up.
101 pitches now for the Orioles right-hander.
He's getting a lot of swing and misses on his fastball. Even in a count like that, 2-0, that tells you he's got a little late movement on that two-seamer.
And the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Left-hander Troy Patton is loosening up in the Orioles bullpen.
Here's a guy that knows before the game starting who he's pretty much responsible for. Just the hottest hitter in the game. And maybe Granderson.
Robinson Cano is on deck. The 2-2. Rounded toward short. Hardy. Strong arm. 1 down.
Well, the reason the hitters aren't getting some of the swings that you would think in hittable counts, he's about 6'6", goes downhill, and when he goes downhill, it stays on plane. Staying on plane has that heavy sinking effect, kind of like Jim Johnson, if you will, and the hitter goes to attack the fastball, and it's a little bit late, and that's one thing that he has going for him tonight, is that when he stays on plane and stays back, his fastball's been electric.
Haven't been many offers for Robinson Cano, but he's 0 for 2 so far tonight. Finished the regular season with a 9-game hitting streak, hitting over 600. And Hamill ahead, 0-2.
So those couple days off might not have been good for him. Because when you're swinging the bat really well, you want at bats. You want to keep swinging.
Led the American League, hitting .359 against right-handed pitching. The right-hander Hamill to the plate. Talked about Derek Jeter with his 216 hits. Robinson Cano with 196. Jeter, in fact, leading all of baseball with those 216.
It's pretty good when you have 2 guys with 200 hits, isn't it?
The 1-2. Toward third, Machado with a smooth play, and Reynolds just did. Hold the bag. They kind of joke about him having a Velcro toe over there, and he just did.
It's a good play.
Get the foot on the bag.
I'm sorry, Ernie. This is a good play when Manny comes in, catches it one hand, and does make a smooth release. And many times that angle of the third baseman leaks it up in the line. So you have to be very careful if you're Mark Reynolds not to stretch out there too soon. But he does have that Velcro toe.
A lot of times first basemen are taught from a young age you stretch to catch. Don't stretch and catch. You get yourself out of position if you already stretch and then try to react to where the ball is.
Can I use that in our coaching clinics?
You can. It was taught to me, as a matter of fact. But we don't want to get into my sterling career at the University of Georgia. Walked on as a freshman, told to walk off as a sophomore. And Swisher cuts through it.
Did you do it without a fight?
I had no grounds. There's a bullet into center field. 2-out single by Swisher. So he's been on all 3 times, couple of walks and a single here in the 6th. If you turned on your TV tonight looking for science nerds, but instead all you see are baseball jocks, then it's our job to tell you that the geeks will eventually return. The Big Bang Theory returns Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights after MLB postseason on TBS. Very funny. Great shot from above. You see the Orioles gathered at the mound as Buck Showalter is making a move to the bullpen. Listen to this for Jason Hamill. And you know, speaking of tonight's pitching stats, tonight's relief pitcher profile is brought to you by the Droid Razor M by Motorola. Troy Patton on in relief.
Well, you look at the numbers right there. He does pretty equally well against lefties and righties. Turning Teixeira around, giving them a little bit better advantage. And as I said earlier, you look and you know your role for the game is pretty much going to be getting a big out in an inning to turn it over maybe to the next guy. And this certainly qualifies for a big out.
5 2/3 for Jason Hamill. The runner at first, Nick Swisher, is his responsibility. The switch hitting Teixeira turns around to bat right-handed against the lefty Patton and takes the ball 1-0.
Relievers, big statistics. Stranded runners coming in with runners on base. He's had a 74% success rate, which means he's leaving the runners out there 74% of the time.
Ran it inside and missed. 2-0.
And you know that Buck Showalter knew that Tex is 0 for 6 off of Troy.
Two balls and 1 strike to Mark Teixeira.
And the other thing it does is it actually gives him a little breathing room to face another left-hander if he can't get Teixeira out, if he can't find the strike zone right away. You know, relievers, they don't get enough credit for having to come in and be fine, you know, right away. Starters can work their way through some lack of control. Relievers have to come in, pinpoint, and get the job done when called upon.
2-1. Right up the middle, base hit. Swisher around second. He'll have to stay right there. Second hit of the night for Mark Teixeira.
Here's a bullet up the middle. Sometimes getting a hit earlier in the game gives you a little bit extra confidence in a playoff series. This is a bullet right up the middle, and Swisher has a thought just for a second. Should I test Adam Jones? And he thought wisely, I think, right there. Adam has a good arm, throws a lot of people out. But here's your point. Gives him a little margin for error.
Yeah.
Because really, he's a matchup guy against Cano and Granderson.
And here is Granderson. Just inside 1-0.
Well, you can see his angle's a lot harder to recognize from the left side than it would be the right side. A little bit of a 3/4 drop down.
Anderson takes a strike. Last couple of seasons, Granderson has reached left-handed pitching for 30 home runs, the most in Major League Baseball. And this from a guy who really struggled against lefties for a while. Kevin Long really worked with him. The Yankees hitting instructor. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and now they all stand up at Camden Yards. Go-ahead run is at second. 2 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Curtis Granderson. Here it comes. Fly ball. Right field near the line. Chris Davis over. And he caught that ball. Davis went into the corner, out of view, and came out with the ball held aloft. What a catch, shielding himself in the corner.
The League Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Citi Private Pass. Get more access with a Citi card. And by Samsung Galaxy 3. The next big thing is here.
Well, we had a 2.5-hour rain delay, but we've been zipping right along at bottom of the 6th inning. Here in Baltimore, in a 2-2 game. And here's Adam Jones, who takes a strike from CC Sabathia. Jones with 32 home runs in the regular season. And at one time put together a 20-game hitting streak. There is Chris Davis. What a catch to end the top half of the 6th. Jones is grounded out and popped up as he leads off the 6th for the Orioles. Up the middle, Cano right there to make the play. The play to end the 6th. Look at Chris Davis in the corner.
Yeah, this was a great play. This is one of those plays here in Camden Yards that actually goes over the wall and come down. You can see that Chris disappears, and it was going to hit the top part of the wall. That's why he shielded himself. That's an unbelievable play.
Not a bad move by a guy who really became the everyday right fielder when Nick Markakis went down with the broken left thumb, hit by a pitch by CC Sabathia. Very little outfield experience, but that was a gem.
2 through 6 has not had much success against TC Sabathia, and that's usually where the meat of your order, you know, you expect those guys to have some big hits. It's been the bottom of the order that has produced the 2 runs.
Matt Wieters takes a strike, 1-1.
If you're going straight by the stats, you expected J.J. Hardy and Adam Jones to do some damage tonight, but CC's handled both of them very well.
Wieters, a 2-time All-Star, waits on Sabathia. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Would you go with the name that Matt and his wife Maria went with on the birth of their first child? Maverick. Do anything for you? Maverick. Tough guy.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that's not going to be the direction you choose. Smoltzy, unimpressed. And he's caught looking here in the 6th. Matt Weiner, a Maverick in his own right, standing by in Atlanta.
You know, I'd be surprised how often I hear that. Time for a Bank of America game break here from Atlanta. An update on what's going on in San Francisco. That's Ryan Hannigan, the Reds catcher, who finds a hole into center field to bring home Scott Rowland. Cincinnati up a game, now leading 4-0 over on TNT.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th, and here's Mark Reynolds.
There's been a number of called third strikes tonight, and we've seen a few batters on both sides have a few words. That's either an indication of really great pitching or maybe a little wider strike zone. I'd say great pitching tonight.
Well, they're putting pressure on the hitters by making a lot of those pitches, and it probably has been in the favor of it down more than it is up. And as Wieters right there said, that ball's down. As a catcher, you're catching the other end of all those pitches that you see your pitcher either getting or not. And as a hitter, I would think his recognition is probably better than most.
Reynolds with a strikeout and a walk, waits on a 1-1.
For CeCe, it really has so far just been one bad pitch. It's 2 runs result of it, a hanging slider. And he's given up some cheap hits, some broken back hits, and he's been every bit as good as advertised tonight.
Count even 2-2. Hits are even in this game, 5 apiece. Score is tied 2-2. It is game 1 of the American League Division Series. First 2 games here at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Game 2 tomorrow night. Then a travel day. And then we go to Yankee Stadium for the next 3 in this best of 5. That ball is hit to center, and Granderson will play it on the hop. 2-out single for Reynolds.
In these type of games, the last inning, you don't mind giving up a 2-out hit here or there, giving the team a little less of a chance to score. But 3 outs in general are very difficult to get at this time of the year. It's amazing how in the regular season you never think about anything other than now is a rally. The crowd goes nuts. Man on second, 2 outs, rally.
Here's Manny Machado. Struck out and grounded out. Shattered his bat on a hop to Jeter, who bobbles, and he's safe at second.
A tough play for Derek. Ball caught him in between on that hop. Right here, he gets it in the kitchen, jams him a little bit, doesn't know if it's going to carry. He does the right thing and blocks it, takes it into his stomach. He just loses control of the ball for a second, and Mark Reynolds does a really nice job. Good secondary, good break, and beats that play to second base.
They scored an E6, and you see Reynolds hustling all the way and just does beat the rap. So they're at first and second with 2 down. And here's the guy who made the great catch to end the inning, Chris Davis, with a chance to break the tie.
This was the situation I was talking about for a guaranteed slider.
Fly ball, left center field. Granderson over, has plenty of room, and that'll do it for the Orioles in the 6th. The game remains tied at 2. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for game-changing traction inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. We move to the 7th inning. Couple of teams that split 18 games right down the middle, 9-9, tied up 2-2. And Russell Martin takes a strike from Troy Patton. Patton came on in relief of Jason Hamill in the 6th, allowed a single to Mark Teixeira, and then retired Curtis Granderson on a fly ball to end the inning. Martin's 0 for 2. Hit one right off the thumbs. We almost got some action up here.
Ooh, I saw all Balin, I think, from the booth next to us.
Oral Hershiser and John Smoltz look-alike Dan Schulman working ESPN Radio.
Hey, should I bring my glove tomorrow?
That'd be fun.
I saw you in the commercials. You don't need it.
Up and in on Martin. 1-2. Darren O'Day did a great job the other night out of the pen in the wild card game against Texas. And that stays upstairs. Count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Starting him with a change. He's gone hard a couple pitches here. See if he tries to finish him with a changeup away. Curveball.
Single runs in the 1st and the 4th for the Yankees. 2 in the 3rd for the Orioles. We are in the 7th. And a good cut by Martin on the 3-2.
Not afraid to throw a 3-2 changeup right there, even though he's leading off the inning. I'm trying to think with Joe a little bit. Is he going to hit for Ibanez? Because Andrew Jones is not over there. It's not an option.
First things first, the 3-2 to Martin, and he just does stay alive. Andrew Jones struggling in the 2nd half of the season, left off the roster for the division series. Payoff pitch again to Martin. And there is a leadoff walk in the 7th.
Well, they're tough anytime you get ahead of a hitter and then walk a guy, but here in the 7th inning, that's not what you want.
Not a good omen. Yeah, you're right, John. Not a good omen in this game because it's happened twice before, and that leadoff runner reaching has come around to score. Jeter to lead off the game, and then A-Rod with a leadoff walk in the 4th came around to score. Here's Ibanez.
The Yankees historically don't play the small ball game so much. They wait for the home run because they can hit the home run. This might be one of those chances they might consider it. Either a hit and run or maybe a bunt.
Ball and a strike. Rob Thompson going to work in the 3rd base coaching box. Martin with a lead at first, and Ibanez waiting on a 1-1. Outside, 2-1. And as loud as they can get here at Camden Yards, you can also just feel the anxiety at a time like this in the top of the 7th in a 2-2 game.
Good hit and run count.
Yeah, Troy has been trying to be a little bit too perfect with some of these pitches, missing wide.
Ibanez checked his swing, and it's 3-1.
This is going to test your will of throwing a good fastball and hopefully getting him to hit it on the ground. A hitter's count. You can't totally give in to the hitter and just throw one right down the middle. You still got to make a good pitch.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Mission accomplished there.
He went with a slider, which of course fools everybody, including Ibanez, thinking you don't want to walk the 1st and 2nd.
The 3-2. Ball 4 to Ibanez. Back-to-back walks to open up the 7th. So Troy Patton, who got him out of the 6th, struggles here in the 7th. Back-to-back walks with nobody out. This postseason, for the first time, MLB Network has Division Series game telecasts coming up this Wednesday. Don't miss any of the action. And again, you can see only on MLB Network. Go to MLBnetwork.com for schedule and channel number. Well, let's get you up to speed if you're just joining us. Long rain delay in a game that was supposed to start at 6:15. Finally got going about 8:45, and here we are in the 7th inning. 2-2 game, 2 on, nobody out, and Darren O'Day on to face Derek Jeter.
And if you're each manager, you're wondering about the strategy. If Jeter bunts, you walk Ichiro to pitch to A-Rod with the bases loaded. So does he bunt? Do you put the pressure on the Orioles team if you're Joe Girardi? This is what the cat and mouse game's all about, and this is the execution that you have to win close baseball games.
Jeter singled and scored the first Yankee run in the 1st. He's 1 out of 3. Runners lead from 1st and 2nd. Jeter squared, did not bunt, 1-0.
With that particular bunt play, they had everyone coming. The middle of the field was wide open. Some people refer to that as a wheel play. The risk is you're riding on everyone charging and crashing to make a play at third base. If the ball is hit up the middle, that could break the game right open.
And if the batter is bunting, the pitcher's job is to throw a strike. You want him to put it in play because the wheel play is designed to get the guy out at third. And he threw it wide, so it gave Jeter an opportunity to look at the situation.
Jeter squares again and takes a strike. 1-1.
There's J.J. Hardy. If we can get a shot of the high home, he's disguising whatever bunt plays on right now. It appears that he's covering third base, which is what the batter is looking for. That's where he's positioned on both of those plays so far. One was everybody was coming. One was he was covering second base.
They're in on the grass at the corners as Jeter squares again. And he offered at it, 1-2.
Well, you look right here at that frisbee, as we call it. He tries to go out there. No need to really go out there. And he tried at the last minute to pull it back. That little barrel of the bat, that little top hand move signified that he went. Now 2 strikes. I'm sure he'll go to swinging.
And he lays it down with 2 strikes. Machado to first, gets the out. Runners move up to second and third. How about that?
Well, that's outstanding bat control and confidence, and I'm surprised I didn't see another frisbee. That was a fastball right there that allowed him to put the 2-strike bunt, because if he fouls it off, it's strike 3. So this pitch right here, a fastball right down the middle, allows Jeter, who's been around this and done this so many times, to put down a great bunt.
Yeah, no bunt play on this one. They're not anticipating Derek to bunt. Manny does a nice job, because if the bunt is laid down, you need to get an out. He comes in immediately, gets the ball, because now you still have some strategy. You can walk like you were talking about. You can bring the infield in. You then can try to pitch for a strikeout.
Ichiro doubled home the first Yankee run in the 1st. 2 guys out there for him here in the 7th. At second and third, Martin and Ibanez.
Well, this situation turns any hitter into a better average hitter with the infield in. You're increasing your chances to bloop one in and not be able to cut off a hard ground ball. And Ichiro has a lot of hits in his career. So if you can stay away and paint the corner like he did there, you'll have success.
Inside, a ball and a strike. A double and a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, this is a risky play right there. They're not playing all the way in. They're not playing all the way back. They're halfway, which is a big risk for a runner like Ichiro. And they're banking on the fact that Martin's not that fast coming home and they'll still be able to make a play. There's no guarantee from that position you'll be able to cut the run off either.
Line down the line and right, but foul. Boy, did he turn on that.
Well, you got to stay away from in on Ichiro. We set that up earlier in the inning. He loves the ball in, hitting well over 400. If you have the guts, backdoor that Frisbee as he did on the first pitch, and you might steal 2 inches off the plate. That's the one area that the umpire has shown some leniency. Try to steal a strike for a lookout, a looking K right here, much needed if you're the Orioles.
Darren O'Day ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ichiro. Hit hard right at second. They'll come to the plate. Martin is going to be out.
What a fantastic play right here. A hard hit ball right at Andino. He comes up, makes a short out throw. Wieters has such great hands. He picked the ball and made the tag right here. But look, it's a pretty close play on a hard hit ball right at an infield. You can see the point. If it's hit either side of him, they score that run. Quick release, great pick.
Going right on contact, and let's not forget Wieters, a tall catcher, not the easiest of plays. And of course, he makes the tag up, gets him before he can slide to home plate.
The Orioles get a huge out there, but they're not out of the woods yet. Runners at the corners, 2 down for Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod hit 18 home runs in the regular season, but you see there, has not gone deep in the last 63 at-bats in the postseason. No balls and 1 strike as they lead from first and third. Checked it, or did he? No, he did not. Angel Hernandez said he went. It's 0-2.
Well, it looked like he went from there. That's that Frisbee slider. He's trying to convince the umpire that he checked. 0-2. Do the Yankees get aggressive, try to steal a base with Ichiro at first? On what would traditionally be something breaking ball-wise away from A-Rod.
Go ahead, John. You got to have it.
Oh, man, I don't know how he lays off of it, yet alone got to have it. That's a great pitch and great discipline. Again, you talked about it, Cal, his recognition of that pitch. That's on the black. I mean, borderline, he didn't swing at it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 out. Top 7. Again, he lays off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You think it's the highest pressure situation. Everybody's screaming and yelling. You think it would make him a bit nervous at home plate. He's all over those takes. If there's such a good thing as a good take, that's a good one.
Well, I know that it's too gutsy of a pitch to throw, but he's leaning out over the plate. You throw it at him and try to get a front door Frisbee, that will lock him up.
still tied at 2. State of the game brought to you by State Farm. Let's look at the scoring in this one. Game 1 of the American League Division Series. Ichiro plated Derek Jeter in the first. Nate McLeod knocked in a couple with that single. And Mark Teixeira hit one off the wall but was thrown out at second. Still scored a run, so it's 2-2. As we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning at Camden Yards, the first playoff game since 1997 here in Baltimore. Ernie Johnson along with John Smoltz and Cal. Please don't call me Carl Ripken. So what do you think as we head to the bottom of the 7th here, Cal?
Well, I think this is where the Orioles have been all year. In my opinion, they're used to playing in this type of game, and they've had great success in it. So they're not panicking. They're right where in their comfort zone. And there's one part of baseball that momentum can help you, and that's this part. They're comfortable playing in this type of ball game.
Yeah, each team has had great opportunities to score. The other team has responded, but I think the Orioles bullpen has so much confidence. It's the reason they're here. It's the reason they win those close games and have 16 extra inning wins in a row. And that if we go that way, the only team that has beat them in extra innings has been the Yankees twice early in the year.
And the Yankees had the big horse on the mound, CC Sabathia, throwing the ball very well.
Well, the Orioles really got out of a jam in the 7th to keep the game tied, and we move to the bottom half, and Lou Ford, the DH, will lead it off. He singled in the 3rd and came around to score on McLeod's 2-run single. And he tapped one in front of the plate in the 5th, and Russell Martin made an outstanding play to get him. So CC Sabathia 0-2 in this ballpark this year against the Orioles after owning them. Looks like the old CC tonight. Lou Ford takes a strike, back in the bigs at the age of 36. We talked about his story earlier in the game. After playing with Minnesota and then going to Japan and then the independent leagues, and back in the bigs in a huge game. He has 2 career homers against Sabathia, one of those this season. Hit foul past 3rd. September 8th, and Lou Ford taking Sabathia for a ride. That ball well hit to center. CC gave up 3 long balls to the Orioles that day. He's ahead in the count, 1-2. As Ford leads off the bottom half of the 7th. Tried to paint with the 2-2 and the count full.
Yeah, CC has every pitch he's had to make. He's been able to adjust, even if he's missed a little bit wide or thrown a slider about 58 feet. He's been able to come back and make a really, really good pitch to get the hitter out.
Payoff pitch to Lou Ford. And tap towards second. Cano with the flip and got him by a half a step.
Robinson Cano makes this play look really, really easy. He comes in, catches it, knows exactly how much time, flips it, and barely gets him at first base. No panic there. That's a tough play, and he made it look easy.
Always the coolest guy in the room. Robinson Cano, 1 down.
And Teixeira knows to stay at home, stay at first base. Don't go field that ball.
Here's the number 9 hitter, Robert Andino, who looks at a strike. Laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd and singled in the 5th. A 1-1, a beauty from Sabathia. A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's just hard. If you're watching a guy like that, you think, oh, he's just going to rear back, as you mentioned, and just throw cheese. He's got great touch on areas of the plate that you would almost fear throwing to in the bottom of the 7th late. But he has such confidence on that pitch that he's going to hit the location and mess with the hitter's head that it's working.
Another breaking pitch. That one missed 2-2.
Andino's has had good at bats. You know, sat on that changeup and got the base hit the time before. He's a good fastball hitter. Not a lot of size, but he can hit the ball a long way. CC's pitching him pretty carefully right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes in a 2-2 game.
Oh, that was a question I always had. You saw how quiet Martin moved in. Did you hear a catcher when he would move and shift and try to see whether he's going away, or could you hear that, or is it just something that you
sometimes you can feel it, but I never tried to get too caught up in that. I didn't peek. You know, many people like to peek to see where the catcher sets up. I just wanted to be convinced what I was going to get.
Fouled off.
And many times catchers will tap the ground. They'll move and they'll try to distract you, tap underneath your back leg, and then move outside.
You peek too much, don't you get one under the chin every now and then if you do too much peeking?
Yeah, if you peek back there, then the pitcher generally doesn't like that.
Another 2-2 is on the way from Sabathia, and the count full.
I think that's a little overrated when people start tapping the ground and all that kind of stuff, trying to distract.
What about the catcher that never shuts up? Is that overrated?
No, you got to do something about that.
The Yankee workhorse, CC Sabathia.
You have any guarantees on this pitch, John?
No. I'm 0 for, well, I'm 1 for 3.
But still walking back to the hotel,
Yeah,
even as we
walking.
speak. Strike 3 called. Tony Randazzo made the call. And Andino heads back.
It's been on both sides. If it's close and it's in the area where the catcher had set up, that's a little bit off the plate, a little too close to take in this situation. He's been given the benefit of the doubt to the pitchers, but the pitchers have been in that area code more times than not.
Yeah, again, sometimes it's an indication of a wide plate when you have that backwards K. Sometimes it's just the quality of pitches that the pitcher's making. CC has been right on the edge.
Here's McLouth, who takes a breaking pitch, ball 1. McLouth has knocked in the 2 Oriole runs. That came in the 3rd. Sabathia with 5 strikeouts, 4 of them looking.
Sometimes you'd have a good argument with the umpire saying, look, that guy out there doesn't have good stuff. You know, how are we taking pitches for 3rd strikes? You can't make that argument when CC's on the mound.
The 1-1 to McLeod.
This is a nasty two-seamer right here that freezes McLeod, catches the bottom of the strike zone. But he didn't get the call. 2-1 count.
That's over 2-2.
Yeah, either both of them has to be strikes or both of them have to be balls. They're almost identical.
McLeod reaches out. One hopper to Cano. Throws him out. Another broken bat. And we're still tied as we head to the 8th. Team Stream. It's the way baseball fans stay in the now. Head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Team Stream now. Nervous time. Game 1. ALDS 2-2 game. Top of the 8th inning now, and the 4th Orioles pitcher of the game is Brian Mattis.
Well, for Mattis, part of the reason he's in the pen, these splits 175 against left-handers, but 327 right-handers are hitting off him. He's been outstanding since being in the pen. He came in, of course, got a big out in the wild card game.
Yeah, he came on and blew away Josh Hamilton. Asked him about that yesterday, and he said, so amped up. Normally you go out there and take your warm-up tosses and get set. He said, I didn't even want the warm-up tosses, just wanted to face him. And he struck him out in a key situation. And now he's got Robinson Cano here in the 8th.
I mean, there's such a different mindset. When you're a starting pitcher, you're trying to navigate through the lineup 2-3 times. You may pitch him one way in the first inning, a different way in the 4th. Out of the bullpen, you can simplify things and just say, here it is. I'm giving you my best stuff. It's my only time I'm going to face you. Here we go.
The 1-1 is grounded to second. Mandino gobbles it up. Throws him out. One down.
You know, and for some of these guys, Cal, that have gone from the rotation to the bullpen, that's really just been, that's helped them. They've adopted this mindset out of the pen.
Yeah, certainly with Brian Mattis, he's kind of eliminated a couple pitches. He's a 4-pitch pitcher, good changeup as a starter, but he's got a good fastball. You can see him just throw the ball right by Cano. So he's using his fastball more and his shorter breaking ball a little bit more, having great success out of the pen.
Nick Swisher's been on all night. Couple of walks, base hit in the 6th.
Another guy that's warming up in the pen, along with Hunter. Johnson's also down there. I think Hunter has been a great case as well. Sinker baller with a starter. Now he's just letting it eat. 98 miles an hour out of the pen, and has been successful.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Certainly Brian is pitching with a lot of confidence. Aggressive, bounced that curveball right there. Not tentative at all.
Swisher hitting .407 over his last 16 games as the playoffs begin for the Yankees, and he takes down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The one thing I am surprised, though, I mean, maybe it's just simplified mechanics out of the stretch. When you're used to starting, you use that wind up when you can. Guys today now are coming out of the pen, whether there's a guy on or not, and just pitching out of the stretch. That's the only thing that, if you can use that deception out of the windup, you'd love to have it, but they're simplifying it, I guess, and just staying in the stretch.
Punched him out. 2 down. Let's go to Matt Weiner in Atlanta.
Thank you, EJ. Time for a Bank of America game break, and the Cincinnati Reds have a chance to put a vice grip on their series with the Giants. Bronson Arroyo helping the cause. 1 hit allowed through 6 innings so far. He struck out 4 without a walk. 4-0 Cincy headed to the 7th inning on TNT, and that series headed back to Ohio after this game.
Thank you, Matt. Mark Teixeira up with 2 down. John, you got to be stunned by that Cincinnati Giants series.
Oh, I really am, especially what happens when you lose your #1 starter after 1 batter, and then you go through the staff and bring in another starter to win that game. Really gives kudos to Cincinnati's overall depth. Nothing that shocks you, nothing that scares you, but yet they're one of the only teams that use 6 starters the whole year. 5, really.
They hold that lead. They'll have a chance to go back to Cincinnati, needing just 1 win. 3 games there. Teixeira takes, and it's 3-0. Teixeira has a couple of hits and has knocked in one of the 2 New York runs. And he draws a 2-out walk.
After falling behind, he wasn't going to give in that situation.
Pitchers know who's on deck, know which matchup that when the count's not in their favor, they'd rather start over with somebody else. And I think that was a classic case there, trying to make really good pitches behind an account. Didn't happen. Just a hopeful, harmless walk when you're the pitcher out there with 2 outs.
Granderson takes a strike. We told you earlier about his success against left-handed pitchers. When you look at his postseason numbers, 5 home runs in the postseason, all from the 7th inning on. We're in the top of the 8th in a 2-2 game, and that's over for a strike. 0-2. Where are you going here, John?
You got to make a better slider pitch than that one right there away. Oh, heat him up.
Spoken like a true ex-reliever. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. Who will become a legend this October? Cast your postseason vote at MLBFancave.com. Hard to sit and watch this. Everybody's standing as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning in a 2-2 game. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Orioles against CC Sabathia. Here's J.J. Hardy.
Tell you, for your starter to go on the road in a tie game and pitch into the 8th inning, that's what he's there. That's why he's getting paid all the big bucks. This is a well-pitched game, not only for CC, but you know, Baltimore has matched him with a few different pitchers.
Joe Girardi's guys earning the best record in the American League, and with their hands full with the Baltimore Orioles. And what a cut Hardy had. 2 balls and a strike.
Approaching 100 pitches. That's his 98th pitch. He's not lost any stuff. You always worry later in the game. You don't want to get beat in location because your stuff's not going to be as good early on to get away with it.
Slap down the right field line. That's a fair ball. Hardy around first, digging for second, and it's a leadoff double in the bottom of the 8th.
It's a fastball on the outside part of the plate. JJ stays all over it. Took a wild swing kind of 2-0 looking for the home run, but this time he stays right with it. Hits a ball line drive down the first baseline, barely fair. cruises in there for a double.
You know, and as a pitcher, there's not much you can do. The fastball actually beat him. He stayed back on it, hit it down the other way. It's an indefensible play. You can't guard the line, of course, for JJ. But now what you've got is you've got your superstar at the plate, man on second, not typically a guy that may go to right field, but you've got to get him over to third somehow, some way.
That's your quandary right now. Do you tell him to go ahead and drive him in? He's got the numbers against CC. He's hitting 340 lifetime. He's got 3 home runs. He's your RBI guy, but he also can bunt. He's not your prototypical type.
Swinging away.
That didn't look like a bunt.
No.
He seems to me, not knowing too much about his resume, obviously a superstar, a guy that wants this moment, but sometimes you can want this moment so much you could be too aggressive and you can actually help the pitcher out. Can he calm himself down to be able to execute offensively when you look at his numbers during the year? 32 home runs, 82 RBIs.
And he's had 7 game-winning RBIs from the 7th inning on, tied with John Jaso for the most in the American League. Takes upstairs, 1-1.
To your point, John, Buck Showalter told us earlier, sometimes he has to bring him back because he gets emotional, he gets excited, and he expands the strike zone. He's a very talented player, a superstar player, and that take right there shows me maybe he calmed himself down from the first swing.
Hardy with a short lead at second. Jones waiting.
And not to beat this point to death, but sometimes the best thing you can do is pass the baton on to the next guy. If you don't get the pitches that you want as a hitter to be able to deliver that RBI that everybody wants, you can't expand the strike zone and help the pitcher out. Pass it on to the next guy, even if it's first and second, nobody out.
We saw David Robertson loosening up in the Yankee pen. 2 balls and a strike to Adam Jones. And the count even, 2-2.
I don't know if CC will do it here, but you want him to pull the ball right here. 2-2 pitch. Does he go in, trying to get the strikeout and or the pull that keeps the runner at second base? Or does he go with the, or does he go with the breaking ball and try to get him to swing over the top and go for the strikeout?
What a big pitch by CC Sabathia.
Well, this was all about setting up that first swing that Adam Jones had. There was his chance, a fat changeup. Then he goes in for effect. Okay, he's going back in there for effect. Now he's got 2-0, 2-1, and here's that really good changeup that he fouls off, and then there's the swing and the miss. Makes it look like a fastball, but his slider down by the shoe tops. A great pitching spot for CC Sabathia, knowing full well he had a base open. Make him swing outside of the strike zone. Got away with 1 pitch, the very first pitch.
And Jones unable to get the runner over to third where a fly ball would get him home. Hardy's still out there at second with 1 down. And here's Matt Wieters, the cleanup hitter.
I'm doing the same thing with him. I know the base is open. I'd much rather face a guy that really could expand the strike zone in Reynolds and see how he pitches them, and I'm sure that's what Joe Girardi went out to say.
Broke his bat, popped it up, foul territory to Sheriff there, and makes the play for the second out.
I don't know if we're going to be able to see this replay. All the photographers and in the first row got so lucky on this broken bat. It hits the railing. We look at the pitch, hard in, bat breaks. Seen that about 5 times today already.
So with a runner at second, he strikes out Jones and saws off Wieters. And here's Mark Reynolds, who has been the Yankee killer with 7 home runs this season. Over for a strike, 0-1. Reynolds called out on strike his first time. Walked in the 4th. Singled in the 6th. The go-ahead run is at second with 2 down. We've talked about that September 8th game in which Sabathia gave up 3 home runs to the Orioles, one of them by Mark Reynolds. And he bats in a big situation here, tie game, game 1, ALDS.
I think that was on a fastball, and he's not going to get a fastball with a chance to put a good swing on it. It's going to stay in, and he's going to go change up away.
The 1-1. And Sabathia ahead 1-2.
His changeup, he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. It stays over. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts with it. If he wants a strikeout, he goes breaking ball versus the righty. But that's a changeup. Gets a lot of the plate.
Yeah, he pulled that one. He pulled that one and it cut over the plate. Kind of fooled the hitter. Supposed to be away. And even as a hitter, you know if he's going to throw a changeup, it's going to be away. That one actually almost backed up or cut.
See the Orioles numbers and how good they have been in these close games. Games decided by 1 or 2. You can almost feel everybody in the place just exhaled. And now they ramp up again for a big 1-2 pitch.
Including Mark Reynolds. I think he exhaled a little bit.
Rounded to Jeter at short. Charges and throws and got him. A runner in scoring position for the Orioles, and they cannot advance him. We are going to the 9th, all tied up. Wow, what a night this has been in Baltimore. And aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for game-changing traction inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Heading to the 9th inning, 2-2. Game 1 of the American League Division Series between the Orioles and the Yankees, and the guy who had 51 saves, Jim Johnson, now on in a tie game here in the 9th, John.
Well, that's what you got to do when you're at home. You got to use your closer in a tie game. There's no other position to use it. The question is, do you use them 1 or 2 innings? But the first thing they got to do is get through this. And as we said before, on this cold night with his sinker, whoo, it's like hitting a bowling ball.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to hit one off the end of the bat here or on the inside label of the bat.
2-0 to Russell Martin. And that ball is hit well to left. McLeod back to the track, to the wall, and it's gone. Russell Martin with a 9th inning homer. And the Yankees have the lead.
Unfortunately, this ball didn't sink. It stayed up over the middle, and that's the first home run in 120 at-bats against the Yankees roster. And maybe that 1-0 pitch set up a different situation when he didn't get the call, but nonetheless, the Yankees with a 1-run lead here in the 9th.
Here's Raul Ibanez, who slaps that into right field for a base hit. I tell you what about Russell Martin. Didn't hit for much average, 211 this year, but he did hit 21 home runs And this one was huge.
You know, Russell, on a sinker baller, you want to get the ball up a little bit, eliminate the sink, and he's got some huge hits in September down the stretch, and add one for October. He crushed that ball.
So here is Derek Jeter, runner at first, nobody out. The Yankees have broken the 2-2 tie here in the ninth. Jeter tried to bunt. Foul at the plate. Another look. Over the wall and plenty to spare. And Jim Johnson. All he can do is watch that one sail over the wall to give the Yankees a 3-2 lead. Jeter pulled it back in time.
Well, what's been so impressive about a 51 save season, you saw 45 strikeouts. He doesn't strike a lot of guys out. He pitches to contact. His sinker effectively makes hitters get themselves out. And this is a situation where one got up and the hitter took advantage of it. You try to keep it right there, give this team a chance in the bottom of the ninth.
Runner going. And off the fists, Derek Jeter singles to right. They're at the corners with nobody out. That is just vintage Derek Jeter.
And certainly Derek Jeter can do so many things on the baseball field. We've seen him sack bunt with 2 strikes. We know he can hit and run right here. And the Yankees have a diverse offense. They don't just wait on the home run ball. They've been playing a lot more small ball. And this is Derek with his back control, pushes the ball to right field, first and third, opens up a big chance for a big inning.
And that's the easiest pitch for Derek Jeter to hit to right field. It looked like he got jammed, but a lot of his hits, over 80 hits, go to right field. His hit spray chart looks like a pulled left-handed hitter, and that's what's so amazing about trying to get him out.
Eduardo Nunez on to pinch run for Ibanez at third.
Again, you're wondering, why don't you pinch run for him when he's on first base? But once he gets to third base, they decide they're going to go for it. They need a good read, and they want to score this run from third base.
Ichiro doubled in the first. That scored Derek Jeter with the game's first run. He struck out twice and reached on a fielder's choice. And he's trying to pad the Yankee lead here in the ninth. Little tapper up the line. The run will score. No play to be made. And there you see the move by Girardi. Nunez, the pinch runner, scores easily.
I don't think Ibanez would score on that play right there. It was a good read, knew his own speed, took off right away, no play at either spot. There's Nunez walking down the third baseline, sees it, hesitates just for a brief moment, and realizes, I can make this. And with his speed, he does.
Well, once the pitcher got to it, it was pretty much done. There's no way he's going to be able to turn and throw it. The only chance would have been for Reynolds, but that's just putting it in the right place at the right time. That's not great hitting, just lucky hitting.
I'd call it great hitting.
That's pushing the right button late in the game, and Girardi did it. Oriole fans not used to seeing this. Jim Johnson in a low to ninth inning hot water.
You couldn't have laid a bunt down the line any better for a safety squeeze than that swing right there by Ichiro.
Runners at first and second, still nobody out. And here's Rodriguez. Looking for his first hit of the night. Called out on strikes in the first, walked and scored in the fourth, grounded out in the sixth, and struck out in the seventh. Big Jim Johnson is from Johnson City, New York. And he's always been big. Because in Little League, when you always wondered, he's the guy who always had to carry the birth certificate around to prove he could still play in that league. A ball and 2 strikes to A-Rod.
You know, Girardi's move of pinch running, it also puts pressure on those middle infielders, because at that time you want to stop him from trying to score and force him out at second base, and it just forces the hands of the defense. Joe was talking about being aggressive. You know, made a couple outs on the bases, but he was going to continue to push the envelope.
Rodriguez goes down swinging. 3rd K of the night for A-Rod, 1 down in the 9th.
Well, this is a power sinker right here. Fastball that runs in. And a rare strikeout, but a big strikeout for Jim Johnson. Now he's got to face Robinson Cano.
Yeah, you talk about that bowling ball sinker, gets a lot of ground ball outs. In fact, he's the first guy to have at least 50 saves, and when he got his 50th, hadn't even struck out 60 hitters on the season. But he does get A-Rod right there. Now here's Cano. We talked about how hot he has been, and he fouls that one off. But tonight, 0 for 4.
He hit the ball very sharply. Reynolds made a nice play on him at first base.
The Orioles have the bullpen going because you can't extend Jim Johnson much further if he doesn't get these next couple guys out, because you need them for the rest of the series. So these next 2 hitters, or this hitter, very important to keep the game right here, but more importantly, not use your closer in a non-situation and expend him.
Now, you don't want to use them up.
Right.
There's a fine line. You want to win this game and you want to go all out, but you don't want to use them up.
Missed outside. And the count even, a ball and a strike. Cano top 10 in hitting and in home runs in the American League. And he bats with runners at first and second. Goes the other way. That ball is fair. McLeod tries to cut it off in the corner. 1 run will score, and 2 runs will score, and the Yankees are breaking it open here in the 9th. They'd held Robinson Cano in check until this.
And this is a sinker that runs away. He stays on top of it. And Robinson Cano does this as well as any hitter. Drives the ball the other way, drives in the big runs. And Ichiro takes a chance on scoring and beats this relay throw in. They just wear you down, and then all of a sudden the big hit.
And all of a sudden, a 2-2 game is now 6-2 Yankees.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Matt Weiner with the Bank of America game break in San Francisco tonight. Bronson Arroyo has been brilliant for the Reds. He's allowed just a single hit through 7 innings now, has struck out 4, walked just 1 on an economical 91 pitches, and the Reds are enjoying a 6-0 lead as they try to take a 2-0 series lead there on TNT.
All right, thank you, Matt. Yankees trying to win the opener here in Baltimore and have scored 4 runs in the top half of the 9th. Tommy Hunter now on in relief. Jim Johnson was roughed up by the Yankees here in the 9th.
For Tommy Hunter, he's one of those guys we talked about making the adjustment to the bullpen, and he will rush it up there. You'll see it anywhere from 95 to 99, occasionally 100 miles an hour, from a guy who relied on a sinker, slider, curveball mentality as a starter, especially in Texas, and then coming over here in a trade.
Started Swisher off with a breaking ball that missed 1-0. There's that heater at 96. Boy, the Orioles had the go-ahead run at second with nobody out in the bottom half of the 8th. Couldn't score him. So the Yankees dodged that bullet and then have fired away at the Orioles here in the 9th.
Well, this game had plenty of opportunities for teams to score, and sometimes it's poor execution that didn't get it done. And I would say this is the other way. It was better execution from the pitchers and defense that didn't allow those runs to be scored. Almost a great game played up until this point, and the Yankees have broken open with some timely hits and some opportunities to score. Eventually they have.
The 3-1 in the air to center field. Adam Jones back. Cano will tag at third. And he will score easily. The 5th run of the inning for the Yankees.
Good job.
Tomorrow on TBS, Conan being Conan is Conan's favorite pastime. Don't miss Governor Mitt Romney's Sons tomorrow after the MLB postseason, only on TBS. Very funny. Nothing funny about the 9th for the Oriole faithful here at Camden Yards.
John, the Yankees do execute. They execute their bunt plays. They execute their hit and run play. They execute walks. They just execute.
Yep.
And the team executes a better wins.
That's the 3rd out of the inning. 8 to the plate, 5 score. Yankees breaking it open in the top half of the 9th. They lead 7-2 in game 2 tomorrow here at Camden Yards. Wei-Yin Chen, the rookie, taking on a guy with a great postseason pedigree in Andy Pettit, game 2.
Yeah, that's what he came back for. Missed it last year, wanted another crack at it, and he's going to get it.
Look who's back out there for the 9th inning. CC Sabathia, who's never had a complete game in the postseason.
Yeah, that's what we said. CC going for the CG.
Ichiro moves from, that was worth the wait, from left to right. Brett Gardner in left field. Machado grounds it up the middle, and Cano throws him out for the 1st out.
So far, Cano has been right behind CC and a couple batters, almost behind second base, taking away some hits with the good charting of where guys like to hit it in certain positions, and we've seen the shifts and everything, but they've taken advantage of it.
Certainly with CC's changeup, that power changeup 86, they're not going to shoot it through the hole on the right side. And Cano knows that. Strikeout pitches the breaking ball, so they are going to play the shift, you know, especially with Robinson on the right-hand hitter up the middle.
Chris Davis has a couple of hits and 3 trips and scatters them in the photo well.
Yeah, certainly for future reference, if you look at the Yankee outfield right now, you got Brett Gardner that came in for defense. This is their best outfield defense. And in a close ball game or when they're ahead, they're going to go with that. Ichiro in right field, and Granderson certainly is a gold glove caliber center fielder out there. I think it's good to get Gardner in the game. Get a little sweat going, get a little feel, be a part of the win. You never know what's going to happen. You think 7-2 is safe with CC throwing the way he is. They're taking no chances.
They thought that Gardner was out for the year with a right elbow injury. Injured it diving for a fly ball. As Davis swings and misses, but able to rehab and come back. And then for a while, even when he came back, they weren't sure if he was going to be able to hit. He was doing a little bit of bunting. And then when he proved that he could swing the bat, he was on the postseason roster for Joe Girardi.
Yeah, the Yankees certainly missed that element. That element out in left field from the defensive standpoint, and also speed. He made things happen.
CC is an out away.
If there is any doubt at all, And this game certainly turned in the 9th, but I think Joe Girardi basically cements the fact that you're going to go with 4 starters now to let CC go back out there. He's your game 1 and potential game 5 starter. There's always that temptation that if things didn't go right, you could bring him back in game 4, maybe Pettit in game 5. But
I think if memory serves, Joe has set that precedent as far as using 4-man. Used to be in your day, you want to take that number 1 guy, shorten his rest, and CC has proved he can do it. So that is an option, but certainly he wants to use that 4-man.
Aside from a mistake to McLeod for a 2-run single, CC could be pitching a shutout tonight in game 1 of the ALDS. He has been spot on, and he's a strike away.
He's been very good. The last 3 starts for sure. Very good tonight.
The 0-2 to Lou Ford. In the dirt, ball and 2 strikes.
He had 2nd and 3rd when he struck out McLeod on really an outstanding 3-2 pitch. Certainly there's a lot of moments in this game where the pitchers have come up on 3-2, probably a lot more, and painted and gotten a little extra out of the strike zone. What a big moment.
That ball's hit toward the gap in right center field. It gets down. Ichiro up with it. Ford has a 2-out double.
And now here comes Joe.
And that veteran Yankee infield. Pats on the back for CC Sabathia. He was a workhorse tonight. And goes 8 2/3 and leaves with a 7-2 lead.
Hi, everyone. Matt Weiner in Atlanta with a Bank of America game break and a reminder of what's happening in San Francisco. This game on TNT. The Reds are pouring it on against the San Francisco Giants and on the verge of a 2-0 series lead. The story of the night, Bronson Arroyo, who still is allowed just 1 hit. He's 6 outs away from what would be his first career 1-hitter. And when your game in Baltimore concludes, we'll take you to San Francisco for the conclusion of Game 2 between the Reds and the Giants.
All right, thank you, Matt Weiner. Putting in a long day in the studio with Dennis Eckersley and David Wells. Well, David Robertson on to close things down after CC Sabathia went 8 2/3, 120 pitches.
Joe Girardi was trying to save some of his arms. Certainly CC, the horse that he is, went out there and threw about 120 pitches.
Yep. And Flaherty is pinch hitting for Andino.
120, that's a lot today, isn't it? Shouldn't he be worried maybe with the pitch counts and everything that are going on?
I think you look at CC and you don't worry, period. I know we said earlier that he got to 200 innings. We're used to him going 240, 245.
And he would have done that. You know, he missed 7 starts, you know, with some of the injuries. So he would have been right on par with how he trains and the mindset for which he is paid to do, and that's pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And game 1 goes to the Yankees. CC Sabathia, a gem. And the Orioles at home drop game 1 of the ALDS. It was a 5-run 9th inning that did the trick That and tonight's Chevy Player of the Game, CC Sabathia. He was simply dominant.
He really was. He was in control from the very start. And let's not forget, 2-hour rain delay can mess with a pitcher. It didn't mess with CC. He had that changeup whenever he wanted. He made a good slider and curveball pitches to get strikeouts. He really was. This was a great game on both teams. In Baltimore should have nothing to be disappointed about other than the first loss in the series. They played him really tough.
He came 1 out shy of his first postseason complete game. But a brilliant 8 2/3 for CC Sabathia.
The Orioles had a couple chances. Still wondering whether they should have tried to move the runner over with the leadoff double. They had CC. CC was pitching really well, but they had a chance. And that's all you can ask for. And for the Yankees, CC did exactly what they need him to do.
Let's go down to Craig Sager. Segs.
Well, CC, terrific job. You're painting the corners all night long. What was working so well for you?
Fastball command was good. You know, I just worked off of that. You know, I was throwing the ball in pretty good and, you know, was getting the corners. So just tried to stay out there, make some pitches, and it worked out.
You said stay out there. You're 1 strike away from your first complete game in the postseason. We were talking about it, and suddenly a base hit, you were pulled. Did you want to stay out there?
Of course. You know, I always want to stay out there. But, you know, it's up to me to make that pitch. You know, just grind it out one more pitch, and, you know, he ended up getting a hit.
The rain delay, 2 hours and a half, basically. What were you doing all that time?
Told you I'll be watching football.
Team win?
Raiders were off today. My fantasy team is doing pretty good, though.
All right. Great job tonight. Back up to you guys.
So CC Sabathia, 8 2/3, strong and 120 pitches. And the Yankees, with 5 runs in the 9th, take game 1 over the homestanding Baltimore Orioles. Our final score, 7-2 Yankees. For John Smoltz and Cal Ripken, Craig Sager, and the rest of the crew, this is Ernie Johnson saying goodnight from Baltimore. After a quick break, we'll take you to San Francisco. TBS is your home for the Division Series and the exclusive home of the American League Championship Series. We'll see you tomorrow night.